Having a nightmare. Good afternoon. Welcome, friends. Welcome, everybody, to the first pro-Christmas Eyes Up Mother Brown. It is West Ham United versus Brighton. We are running extremely late, which is completely my fault. The rest of the team here have been hanging on very patiently, waiting for me to get my finger out, which I've finally just done. And so here we are. First of all, I do hope you've all had a very peaceful and enjoyable Christmas. And let's hope we get a win today. We're like 90 seconds away from kickoff. So without further ado, hellos to Gnome, to Pinky, and to Rio. And Gnome's going to take us straight through the team sheets.
Okay, one major change. In comes Johnson. Fornals drops to the bench. Excuse me. So we start with Fabianski, Kufal, Balbuena, Ogbonna, Cresswell, Rice, Souček, Bowen, Noble, Johnson, and Haller. On the bench, we've abandoned the two goalkeeper experiment, and we have Yarmolenko, Benrahma, Lanzini, Snodgrass, Dawson, Fornals, Diop, Fredericks, and Randolph. Our opponents, their 11 lineup, as we're just about to go kick off. It's Sanchez in goal, White, Dunk, Webster, March, Bissuama, Lallana, Bird, Rossar, Mope, and Welbeck. And there, I've got the teams out, and just before kickoff. So, yeah, all yours. So, Mr. Moyes wouldn't be drawn on whether or not it meant to change to 5 at the back. He said, we'll wait and see. He said, but Johnson's been playing well in training. So he's earned his start. So we're just taking the knee now on the telly.
Keep talking.
Yeah. So, and Brighton, it'll be Brighton to kick off, and they'll be attacking the Bobby Moore end, and we're underway. And I hope everyone else is up with me. So, ball up in the air, bit of head tennis. Nothing much really happening. Brighton now try and play the ball, and well, that's excuse me. Balbuena puts a foot in and ends up a run throw to Brighton.
Well, as usual, I'm a million miles behind you lot. They're still taking the knee here on my stream, so once again, I shall be reliant upon you three guys to keep us abreast of how everything's going. Rio, how you doing, buddy? Did you have a good Christmas?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks, mate.
Excellent.
News from the forum.
Yes.
Before kickoff, before the teams were announced, sorry. When they had a little 6-page thread, it was quite easy to get through and pick out the highlights. Since the announcement of the team, we've got the 13. The natives aren't happy. Neither am I, to be honest. But yeah, there's a lot of unrest in the camp over the team selection. If I just want to go through a couple of the comments made.
Yeah, please do.
Only one post. Dangerous. They've scored 1 goal in 3 games, and that was against the worst team in the league, who are down to 10 men. The best player is a defensive midfielder. It's the easiest 3 points of the season for them. As I say, that Welbeck's just gone through and one over the bar. Okay. Yeah, Wilco 1304. This is the kind of team that makes you long for the days of radio. Now then, I'm guessing Fornals needs a rest. One of Benrahma Lanzini is going to play almost 45 minutes a day when he comes on. Maybe a bit worries about Johnson playing left wing back for the first time, so being extra defensive until he builds into the game. If we concede first, it's going to be lucky. And Wormley's put, Moyes is clearly sending a message to the ball with that lineup. That's the most kind of family-friendly comments I could pick out, because there's a lot of joy on there at the moment.
Good stuff. Well, there's clearly a lot of joy in the Pink Palermo household this afternoon. Pinky looking resplendent, if I may say so, in his brand new Christmas attire. Pinky, give us a flash if you can, sir.
You know what? It ain't
Beautiful.
Christmas unless you got yourself a West Ham jumper in your stocking. Yeah. You know, memo to the board though, you need a 5XL in the portfolio. The 3's a bit snug. Anyway, I think, yeah, just picking up on the team selection there. You know, this is the time of year when the games come thick and fast. And I think, you know, the manager's got to navigate his way, not just through today's game, but a series of fixtures. And if we look at, the next 3 games today, Brighton, then next up Saints, and then Everton, of those 3 games, you just think, well, this is perhaps the game where if you're going to give 1 or 2 players a rest, this ought to be the game to do it. So, you know, I know as supporters, we all want the strongest team out there every single minute of every single game and all the rest of it. But sometimes the manager's got to be a bit more pragmatic than that. So I'm not altogether surprised to see the likes of Mark Noble come in. Johnson, more of a surprise, must be said. But the fact that we're just rotating doesn't particularly alarm me. I think that's good common sense management.
3 minutes, 3 and a bit minutes gone. Gnome, what are you detecting so far from the pattern of play that we've seen?
Well, Brighton have just forced the corner. Mopé had a sort of speculative dig from outside the box, flicked off West Ham player to go for a corner. Wouldn't have caused Fabianski any problems, but the corner's just about to be taken now. Trossard is Trossard. Yes, Trossard will take it. It's outswinger, cleared out by Balbuena, only as far as Mopé, who then plays the ball all the way back. So halfway inside our half at the moment. Ball's played in again. Tried to play it in wide, but really got all the angles wrong, and it's a throw in for West Ham. Yeah, the first chance of the game, couple of minutes ago, when Rio was running through the forums there. Long ball played over the back, and somewhat worryingly, Ogbonna got the wrong side of Welbeck. Welbeck, it was wide, very wide of the goal, and it took a swing a bit high, wide and over. Didn't sort of trouble Fabianski in any way, but Ogbonna, hopefully that'd be a bit of a wake-up call, because Ogbonna just caught a little bit flat-footed there.
Of course, it is a game this afternoon that even if West Ham win, we can't rise in the table, strange enough, because of those fairly negative last couple of results we have. Even a win today would only see us rise to a point within Southampton. Of course, Southampton, Chelsea, Tottenham, Aston Villa all on 25 points. Man City, Man U 26, 27. So it's all very tight. But it's a game really, Rio, you're looking at today and you're thinking, you know, we do need to win this if we're going to stay in contention for, you know, a European spot later in the season.
Yeah, no, most definitely. That's why I think it's a bit of a strange choice to leave Mark in the starting lineup. Out of the 3 games we've got coming up, this is the most winnable. To play the role that we expect him to be playing in behind the strikers, we've got not only Fornells, who's been obviously rested or dropped, whoever, but Lanzini hasn't had much game time. He could play there. Ben Rama could play there. He hasn't been full of game time either. Push, Robert Snodgrass. You know, we've got a wealth of options, and he's picked probably the most slowest, the most almost negative, really. And also, I can throw into the mix a few facts as well, which doesn't add to the Christmas cheer pre-game. Since the return of Brighton to the Premier League on this second occasion, played them 6 times, not 1 single victory. There's 3 draws and 3 defeats.
Wow.
We haven't beaten them at home in the top flight since the 5th of March 1983, when a 2-1 victory. It's not happy reading at the moment. I've got no confidence whatsoever. So if you see me hit a beer or 2 during the game, there is a reason.
Well, yeah, I'm filling up here, mate. I mean, you know, it's the season to be jolly. Didn't you get the memo? You know, light it up. Yeah. You know, we're 6.5 minutes in.
I've got a new West Ham players on. I'm happy.
You know, heavens above. God.
For all the festive cheer that abounds, West Ham have barely been in the opposition half yet so far, from what I've seen. Though I've been taking copious notes and other bits and bobs. And we see Brighton with another corner.
I've got another one if you want it as well.
Go on then.
Mark Noble's only started 2 games this season. We've lost both, and we haven't scored a goal in either one.
Oh, well, you know what they say, records are there to be broken. Let's hope this is another one of those Leeds days. Where how long was it, Rio, since we'd not won at Ellen Road? It was a long time, and we managed to put that one to bed, didn't we? No. Carrow Road as well.
It's only about 20 years though.
Well, that's true. Not 37 years, I suppose. Not quite the same thing. Where I am, it's just about 7.5 minutes gone. I'm not sure how far we've got where you guys have gone, but Pinky, pretty strong start so far.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's just the usual sort of like opening exchanges. I'm not nearly as downbeat as Rio is in terms of the selection. I think we'll see Lanzini come on
Kufal in the area.
Second half. And in terms of who you started with,
yeah,
have we actually got a better passer of the ball than Mark Noble? Have we? Because
we've got a corner now, guys. You want to come to me for that?
No, Gordon. I'm laying down a challenge at Rio here now, because do you know what? I'm not going to join in the festival of hate on the club captain. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. Yeah, it's the season.
Pulls it back to Noble, who now Kufal rather. Kufal's back in the corner, plays it back. Noble swings the ball in. Not a very good cross, I have to say. But now another shot there. I think that took another deflection for another corner. Rice had the shot. The first one came from a sort of good move involving Kufal. It was spread from the left to the right, brought Kufal in. The corner was taken, I say short, it was pulled back pretty much along the touchline. Made a bit of a hash of getting it in the box, but we forced another corner. Bowen's looking at it now, and I think this will actually be swung into the box, and it is. Doesn't beat the first man, and we have another corner.
No, were you thinking the handball on that first one?
Potentially? Yeah, potentially. It's probably you never know these days what they're going to give. I went because it looked in that area, sort of thing. Clearly, they've had a look at it by now if they were going to. So Bowen again with the corner. Again, it doesn't beat the first man. Played out to Kufal on the right, though. Kufal swings the ball in. Again, it's headed away. Brighton now will take it away. But Noble is alert, brings the ball back. Oh, nearly a good ball in there, but Souček tries to keep it alive and fails. And now Brighton are coming away on the break. That breaks down on Cresswell. And it's back in the Brighton half, and they're now sort of playing it across the back. Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, clearly the TV people didn't think much of it because we haven't seen it again. Although we've had corners and stuff then, but
no, nothing doing it. So it was one of those. It was worth an ooh anyway, I think. But
it was. What was that?
Yeah, worth a shout. Pinky, you were laying down a challenge to Rio.
Yeah, I think there's a tendency to get stuck into one or two players. And I know Rio for many, many years was a big fan of the captain. Most of us would accept he hasn't got 90 minutes in him these days.
We talking about Rio or Mark Noble there? Sorry.
Indeed. Yeah. But at this time of year, the manager's got to rotate his squad. And I maintain Noble just might have the pass in him that unlocks the Brighton defence at some point in this game. And I think we'll see Nobes for an hour. And then I think we'll see Lanzini come on for the last 30 as his replacement. The selection that I suspect has upset most of our support would be the absence of Ben Rama. But again, I would say, what has he done to justify inclusion? Mm-hmm. I mean, seriously, someone tell me.
Yeah,
what's he done?
Yeah. I wouldn't have picked him, to be honest. I think he's more used as some sort of sub to bring something different on at the moment. But he would have been my first choice. Ball deep in Brighton territory, back with the Sanchez in goal. They're trying to play it away again now. There's not an awful lot happening. If you're following this, we've won the ball back, and it's Noble's got the ball out on the left wing and just forces a throw in the end. But let's see what we can do from this.
Harry Potter on the touchline taking
coke. It looked like he was writing that betting slip, didn't it?
Yeah.
Which, of course, I hasten to add, he almost certainly wasn't, because that, of course, would be against all our rules. So it was merely a joke, if the legal people are watching.
What's happening? Someone tell me what's happening. I'm writing a message to Pinky actually via WhatsApp right now, but
it's absolutely nothing. Ball's back with Sanchez. They're trying to play out, and it's kind of floundering a little bit, and it's going back again. It'll be with Sanchez again in 2 sets, and I'm right. It's with Sanchez again. A lot of good sort of pressing there, but Brighton are now able to bring it around somewhere nearer halfway. But again, it's going back. This is, well, they've played it out wide now, and Burns on the ball. So let's see if they can actually have some attacking intent here. Keeping possession well, but going nowhere with it. And it's back with Sanchez again. So, interesting fact for you. Back in the steam radio days of the 1920s, they used to publish, the Radio Times used to give away a little chart. Oh, the balls go down the right. I'll come back to that. Bowen's trying to get in here and forces a corner. They used to give a little chart with numbers on. And as the commentary was going, somebody sat next to the commentator would tell you what number square the ball was in. And which is where the phrase "back to square one" became more popularised.
There you go. Facts aplenty here on the stream. I don't know what.
There's nothing happening in the game, so may as well throw these in.
I missed all of that, Gordon. But can I just say, it sounds as if I'm glad to have.
Yeah. Ball played in from the corner. It's come out to Cresswell. Tries to chip the ball in, and Bowen's actually onside. Didn't quite. Actually, I'm not sure the flag did go up there, but brings the ball nearly down and then hooks it over the. We're experimenting with short corners. That one went Bowen, Noble, Kufal before it went in. Ball was chipped in. Bowen would have been onside had he been able to get that in. Didn't keep it down, so Brighton are taking the goal kick short, and they're trying to bring it away again. So it's deep in Brighton's half or halfway in their half now. It's a bit of a pattern.
Yeah, it's well, we're quarter of an hour in anyway. There's absolutely nothing happened so far. It's been a dreadfully dull game. David Moyes' experimental team not quite gelling just yet, but I just want to apologise for anyone watching us on the live stream because I appear to be green for some reason. I'm not quite sure why that is on YouTube. I seem to have a green filter on my screen. No idea why that is, but
everything's gone green. Who was that? Was that
New Order?
New Order.
Yeah, I think it was the B-side of Ceremony. I think you'll find.
Oh, there you go.
What a fine band. What a fine band. New Order.
Somebody will tell me that it isn't, but they're not very good live, by the way. I saw what was their, I think their fourth or fifth gig ever live as a live band, and it was dreadful.
My apologies again for my green appearance. So people are beginning to catch on there, ask why I'm green. I've no idea. I'll try and sort that out. But hellos to Metlin Both Legs, to Polaroid, who says, afternoon, gents. Trust you all had a good Christmas. To Hobo, to Simon Osborne, Richard Van, Lewis John, etc. Everyone else tuning in on the stream. It's West Ham United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 0. Some 16 minutes gone. West Ham, I believe, are yet to produce a shot at goal. No, that's not true, is it? Because Bowen had one a few moments ago. I did manage to catch that. I'm all over the place today, as you can tell. I'm relying on the guys here to keep us going. Rio is keeping an eye on the West Ham fans' view for us today on the KUMB.com forum. Pinky is looking at North Stand Chat, which is the Brighton equivalent. We'll go to those guys in just a minute. No, feel free to jump in if anything interesting happens on the pitch. Rio, what are the initial thoughts of our team on KUMB?
One of the comments, well, not just one, there's a couple of comments which Pinky will naturally take offence at. Not directed at him, obviously, because he's much respected and much valued by members. But Mark Noble's getting a bit of stick already. As are our corner routines, which, let's be honest, have been pretty dire in the opening exchanges.
Just before you go on, there's
1973.
A little bit of incident there. So ball came out left to March, who put the ball in. Just went through a crowd of players. See what the referee's given here. Yeah, it went through a crowd of players. In fact, it beat Ogbonna. Welbeck was behind him, but it came off Welbeck's arm, and the referee did indicate that. A good spot by the referee. But again, marking wasn't all that it ought to have been. And if that had come off Welbeck's any other part of his body, well, it may have been on target, let's put it that way, and might have had an issue. Ball played out now to Kufal. He didn't get on the end of this. He's in a good position. They clipped the defender who's made sure he went down, let's put it that way. And it was one of those sucker ones. Really, you should stand back, and if the player's going to go down, then you just say, "Well, I haven't touched you," but there was a little bit of contact. Player goes down in a dangerous position. Free kick to Brighton. So,
okay.
Sorry, Rio, all yours, mate.
Rio, back to you. I'm just going to nip round the back of my computer and fiddle with some
No
Rio, over to you.
Yep, Tanda Dog has put, got a bad look about this already today. Why is Noble starting and why do we not want to play with the ball a bit? Even against smaller clubs, we seem to give the ball up like it's not important. Smuts commenting on the corner routines. It's another dire corner. Dorothy's, but I understand Noble's starting against Chelsea, but not today. Macca 1973. Corners are getting silly now. Can't lift the ball to beat the first defender. It's like kids football. And just in response to the fact that Pinky thought I wouldn't have 90 minutes in me. Now, I anticipated this, so I have a substitute on the bench if needed. The occasional contributor to KUMB articles. My son is sitting here and he's just going to pop his head around the corner and say hello.
Hi, Rob.
All right, Rob.
Merry Christmas.
So just send a number up and I'll sub myself out.
There you go.
With his full head of hair, which is, of course, something he won't have in about 15 years. But don't be bitter towards your dad about that. Whatever happens, don't be bitter. Okay.
Nothing much happening. Ball with West Ham at the moment, playing it across the back. It's gone from one side to the other. Noble plays the ball down to Johnson, who's getting forward a lot now. Takes his full back on, and the cross gets blocked and it's cleared away. But Johnson at least showing some attacking intent. The ball's all the way back with Rice now, who's played it forward to Souček. Ogbonna out to Noble. Long raking ball from Noble, but it's not accurate. It's gone straight through the keeper, far too straight. Help me out here, guys. Difficult.
Okay, well, if it's any consolation, the cognoscenti on North Stand chat, if we think our team's getting a bit of stick in terms of selection, Harry Potter's getting absolutely slaughtered on their website.
Oh dear.
But a terrific comment here from Billy the Fish, who says, standard pattern of play so far, lots of possession and neat passing. Next step is either to concede from a set piece or miss an open goal. So with that level of optimism, someone in his family is a West Ham United supporter. It's in the blood there somewhere. And their main concern is set pieces. They seem to concede an awful lot of goals from set pieces, particularly corner kicks. So who knows? If we can actually get the ball past the first defender, it may bear dividends for us today.
Well, fingers crossed, because there doesn't seem to be any other avenues of scoring goals right now as we approach the halfway stage in the first half. As I speak, I've just gone from green to colour again in the incredible Hulk stakes, so that's good. Anyway, I must confess I've not been watching the game at all for the last 10 minutes. I've been trying to sort out the technical issues, and I have no idea how that's just resolved itself, but it has. So maybe it's a bad connection or something. Anyway, 21 minutes gone. Gnome, what are we thinking about? The team selection so far, the way it's working. Not really doing a lot, are we, right now?
It's I can understand they wanted to go back to just have a look at free kick. Kufel's trod on players' foot. Free kicks taken, nothing much happening. I can understand us wanting to go back to the 3-5 at the back, depending on your point of view, because we don't look as good at the moment, and Masuaku's the player that is the absence of him is causing problems. Sorry, I paused there because the verge of something interesting happening. The ball played over the top. Again, Bonner didn't look to be the right side, but the referee is indicating there was an offside there, so he was the right side technically. But I think if Brighton are to get anything out of this game, that quick long ball over the top is probably their best bet. Welbeck is giving Ogbonna something to think about at the moment. Anyway, that's the way I put that. But we're on the ball now. Haller collects it, feeds Bowen in, gets clipped, but referee, doesn't. Yeah, now he waves play on. for the advantage. So we've got Noble now looking to push things forward. He sprays it out right. It's a looping ball that doesn't really give Rice an awful. Oh, but that's played into Rice. He gets down the line now. He desperately needs some help there down in the corner. Kufal comes and gives that help. It's come off Kufal and it's a goal kick. The ball from Noble out to Rice was just sort of looped up in the air, and it didn't really give Rice anything to work with. He had to wait for it to come down. And whereas a slightly crisper pass would have actually then
floater. I mean, he does that all the time in training. Honestly, Gordon, you're not.
No. I'm just saying that. I'm not making one comment or another as to Noble's overall efficiency, but that wasn't a good ball. Simple as that. I'm not. You want to fight with Rio? You fight with Rio. I'm not taking sides in that.
Listen. I'll have you all today. I tell you what, because I'm detecting I'm on a forum with a load of Noble haters here, and I'm not having it. Rice,
come on, boys. We've all had a drink. Come on.
Rice to Kufal. Kufal gets the ball in. Rice plays the ball across the box. Johnson's there looking for someone to clip the ball into, and Halle was gearing up there, but it was a bit too crowded to try anything like spectacular overhead kick or anything like that. And it's gone out for a goal kick. Slightly promising move there, and I'd like to point out I haven't had a drink today, so yet.
Well, there's plenty of time yet, and if it carries on like this, I'm sure we'll all be looking for a bit of refreshment come 90 minutes. West Ham United 0, Brighton, and Hove Albion 0. 24 and a few seconds gone, nearly 25 minutes gone. Some early match stats for you, possession stats. West Ham 36% possession. Brighton have seen 64% of the ball, 2/3 almost exactly. 2 shots each according to the stats I see here. How many on target so far? That many. None for either side. What a rubbish game this is so far. Let's hope it picks up Rio very soon.
Yeah, does anyone have any Christmas songs? Because this is just dire, isn't it? Jesus.
Rotten.
Of all the times for Joseph and Mary to play and a kid, over a holiday we have to stay indoors and watch a game, right? Reschedule your pregnancy routines, guys, please, God's sake.
There has to be something about some sort of punchline to the announcement on Christmas Day that Jesus had got COVID at Man City. Brighton are in the box now, get a cross in, but it's blocked away by O'Connor. A slightly dangerous looking move there. It was as if everybody was having a nap and then somebody woke up all of a sudden. Let's have a look. So, yeah, Welbeck's gone in kind of behind the defence, gets the ball across. O'Connor's awake to it, but neither side really particularly look as if they've. They look like I feel. It's been a couple of late nights, and
so Haller's moving a bit slower than I did after my Christmas dinner. If that gives you any indication as to his movement this afternoon.
Anyway, out swinging corner from Brighton. Oh, almost a free header there, but that was from Webster. Fabianski was well awake to that one. Let's have a look at it again. Yes, the number 4 was Webster. Yeah, comes in. Not really great marking there, guys, but Fabianski, nice, easy, safe catch for him.
And best first effort on target in the game.
Might have gone in had nobody been there.
It is the first effort on target, which has taken 27 minutes, and there it is. In other news, I appear to have gone green again. I have no idea why, and apologies for anyone who's watching on the stream if it's making your viewing even more difficult this afternoon because there's not a lot to enjoy so far on the pitch. Pinky, anything happening on the North Stand chat? Is anyone even bothering to comment down there?
Someone's made the. I mean, Rio was coming out with some dubious stats about our lads, but here's one from North Stand chat. Adam Lallana is making his 10th start of the season, which is his highest number since. Can you guess which season?
Be it Southampton.
2016-17.
Oh, another chance for Brighton there. Byrne burst forward. Nobody closed him down. He had a shot, which we'll see better from behind as they show it again now. How on target it might have been. lots of space to run into. Left foot shot. Whether or not it would have troubled Fabianski, I don't know. He might have probably saved it, but it came off. Balbuena turned his back and it came off his heel. So we've got a corner, which I think maybe Brighton's first from their left-hand side. All the others, or both the others, seem to have come the other side. So, as ever, 2 players on the ball at the moment. One is March, and it's March who takes it. Outswinger, headed away. Brighton headed back into the box, and where's the West Ham defence gone? Well, Mopé was left totally alone there, but we finally got the ball back. And well, I thought Rice won a throw in there, and it's been given to Brighton. So it looks a poor decision, that one, but nothing much happening. But when the ball was played back into the box there, Mopé seemed to have acres of space on his own. Brighton beginning to sort of exert a little bit of pressure now. As Trossard tries to jink about with the ball, but Balbuena puts it out for a throw-in. But they're on the ball a little bit now, Brighton, and there seems to be a tad more urgency about them, dare I say it.
Yeah, they've certainly had the better exchanges so far. As we approach half an hour gone in the game, West Ham United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 0. Only 1 shot on target so far. That coming, or 1 effort on target. It wasn't a shot, it was a header. Coming just a couple of minutes ago for Brighton, but West Ham really struggling to get into this game so far, Pinky. And you know, that sort of experiment or change in the lineup not really paying off so far for David Moyes.
Well, arguably it is. You haven't conceded. You know, let's not forget. You know, we're not exactly in the best of form the last 2 or 3 games. So, you know, there might be an element of the manager saying, whatever happens today, we're not going to give away an early goal. Mm-hmm. We're just showing a nice clip of Peter Sellers there and his twin, who sat in the stand, and even Robert Snodgrass. But I'm not going to join in on the slating of the lineup today. Graham, it's the time of year when the managers have got to mix it up, because if they don't, worse things happen. So yep. I don't think Brighton are all that. I think of their side, I think March has clearly looked the most threatening. But he's a player that's looked threatening for years without ever fully breaking through, which kind of tells me he's not all that either. So I think this is an ordinary Brighton team. I think we'll bring on a couple of subs in the second half that will make the difference. And I still think we'll win this game comfortably today.
Okay, good stuff. We like the optimism. Let's hope Pinky's right. Brighton, of course, going into this game just 1 point off of the drop zone, with 12 points from their opening 14 games, and oddly enough, having failed to win at home yet, even though they've won a couple of times on the road. So, no, that sort of form suggests that they are sort of slightly more comfortable on their travels this year.
Yeah, it's a lot of teams are doing better away from home than they are at home this season. I mean, it's a bit. I don't know. Somebody will probably tell me no, it's only Brighton now, but it certainly seems to be that the absence of fans does sort of level the playing field a bit. Yeah. In terms of results, anyway. Just say I haven't sat down and analysed it that depth, but yeah, I mean, Brighton wouldn't be alone anyway in that. Again, seeing a lot of the ball now and trying to break down fairly stubborn West Ham defence. They've moved it out to right, cuts in. Again, another shot from outside the box, but I think it's come off a Brighton player. Webster's not exactly shy of having a dig, is he? It's the second one he's had. I think it may have come off Welbeck. Let's have a look. Again, I think Fabianski would have had the shot covered, but Welbeck got in the way and put it out for a goal kick anyway. So, but I'd like to see something from us having some sort of shot. I'd like to see us getting a bit forward a bit more to the position where that's an option.
It's not the most inspiring stuff, is it, so far, known from West Ham?
Well, we've got the ball out in the wing. Johnson's actually taking on the full-back. Does very well. Does get a cross in, but it's safely in the hands of Sanchez. But a bit of attacking intent there.
Yeah, on that point, do we think that give this one to Rio? Do we think that David Moyes was expecting a little bit more from Johnson, perhaps, in an attacking sense today, which is perhaps why he's put him out there?
I think because it used to be in his early days on the youth side, used to be a far more attacking player, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
So you would have thought that playing as a wing back would suit him naturally. But let's be honest, we haven't really played well at all. We haven't given the opportunity to prove himself and threaten their defence. It's all been a nothing game, really. It's been aimless long balls from Brighton. We've delivered very little, and we're not giving our players the opportunity to sign. So it's really hard, particularly the likes of Johnson, who's a young kid coming in the side. I think he's only about fourth or fifth start. It's very hard to judge him on this lineup, on this set of performance, because we're not giving the opportunity to shine in any way.
Well, chance for Brighton there is another long ball from the back. Outsmarts Kufal. March gets in behind. Wasn't much of an angle. Nobody in the middle for him to look for a cross through. Had a shot, hit the side netting, but was never threatening anything else. Just a thought there. I mean, as we see Cresswell throwing the ball, having Johnson there in front of him, we haven't seen anything of Cresswell at all from an attacking perspective. Johnson's taken the ball forward a couple of times, but Cresswell has been very much concentrating on his defensive duties, and he'll give us all the statistics somewhere along the line. But so far this season, he has been one of our more effective threats attacking. So there's another long diagonal ball played right into the corner, and we end up playing it off a player for a throw in there. But
I suppose, no, we should be grateful that Cresswell appears to have managed to stay on his feet so far this afternoon.
Yeah. Perhaps he got some new boots for Christmas, or new studs or something like that. Yeah.
There you go. 35 minutes gone. West Ham United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 0. Not an awful lot happening. West Ham sort of a bit timid so far, not really able to get a few passes together. Pink, is that really what we just need to do for now? Just we're struggling to get hold of the ball, aren't we? Do we just need to get it down and keep possession for a bit and just try and build on that?
We need to up the tempo. I mean, if this game, I've actually seen glaciers move quicker than this game. It has been played at a snail's pace. I always feel we look better when we move the ball quicker. And for me, get a hold of the ball, pass and move. And these are football basics. And today we're just going through the motions here. This is all the hallmarks of we don't really want to be out there. It's a bit chilly outside. We'll jog around for a bit, draw our pay, and then go home. Up the tempo. That's what we need to do, because I think we've probably got better players than Brighton. And I think if the game was just a slightly faster pace, we might be able to prove that. Yeah,
the Brighton just winning a free kick there a few moments ago.
You had the game in a nutshell in there. Brighton had a free kick halfway inside our half, silly free kick to give away by Balbuena, and all sorts of options. It got taken short, and eventually ended up going out for a throw in, maybe about 10 yards further forward than they're taking it. It's just it really is that sort of a game.
It's sort of game that Jose Mourinho would make 3 substitutions before half time just to make a point. But we can argue about the selection all we want, but they can all run a bit quicker than they're currently moving, every single one of them, and they can all pass the ball a bit crisper as well than they're all currently doing.
Dangerous ball in there. Jeffrey Boycott's corridor of uncertainty there as the ball was played in. With looking at it as it comes in now, it's a nice little chip ball in. Balbuena and Kufal. Balbuena doesn't play it. Kufal manages to shield it to Fabianski, with Welbeck looking dangerous there. But it was a dangerous looking ball, but in the end, nothing came of it. Ball in the Brighton half now. Head tennis being played. Haller finally brings it down, and it's with Johnson into Haller. Haller's looking for somebody. Oh, gets clipped there, but the referee raised play on. And ball's out wide with Kufal now. Can we get a decent cross in here? Kufal looking for help. Plays a lovely ball down the line to Bowen, who's got acres here. Just because he wouldn't take that with his right foot.
I'm beginning to...
We've got a throw in there, but that annoys me. There were players in the box there, and Bowen would not touch that ball with his right foot.
Okay. Well, here we are, 38 and a half minutes gone, still no goals, and West Ham really struggling to make anything sort of creative or worthy of even reporting on. But Rio, sort of looking back at our last few fixtures, beginning to wonder when the last time we had a really good game was. I mean, we played fairly well at Leeds, I think, but you look back at the last few games: Chelsea, Palace, Man United, Villa. Even Sheffield United, we did okay, but it wasn't that. But you're sort of looking back and you're beginning to think, well, have we perhaps gone off the boil a little bit in the last few games? And
Welbeck's in a good position, plays the ball back to Mopé. Shot block though. Sorry, it was looking a little bit dangerous there, but in the end, nothing.
Yeah, I'd be tempted to say, I think the last time I come away absolutely ecstatic was Leicester, because that was an absolute consummate performance, wasn't it, away from home?
Yeah.
Since then, we've been incredibly workmanlike, laborious. We've been incredibly fortunate in home games. Been unlucky away a couple of times against City. I thought was it Liverpool? Sorry. We produced a performance which was worthy of more than what we got. We lost, but we could have easily picked up all 3 points if a little bit of luck. But most of our performance has been incredibly laboured, and dare I say it, we look very tired. Now we're using a very small squad, and there's some heavy legs out there and heavy minds as well. We looked at times because some of our decision making has been incredibly poor.
Yeah. We were slightly concerned, weren't we, after that initial run of games where we, produced some really good performances in those matches we weren't expected to do well. And is this just typical West Ham where, we've been playing the teams that we're expected to do better against and we're just, not performing as well as we did at the start of the season?
Absolutely. I've always said it's ingrained in our DNA.
Yeah.
We play to the level of our opposition. Against the likes of City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham, we raise our game, we match them, we produce performances. Our players seem to thrive on that. But against the teams, we should at times roll over and make lighter work of. We've always done it, haven't we? We've always been kind of, that mentality creeps in when we're expected to win this. Let's put in half-hearted efforts.
Good little move from West Ham there. Rice and Bowen combining well. Noble played the ball in. The shot ended up getting blocked there, but that might have been on target. Whether or not the keeper would have had an issue with it is another matter. But there's the graphic comes up. That's only our third shot of the day, isn't it? It was a promising move because they were short, crisp passes into the path of players.
Exactly what we've been calling for, Gnome. That sort of more incisive football. But just going back, Pinky, to that point quickly, you were in disagreement with what I was suggesting there, I think.
Was I?
I'm not sure. You had a face of disagreement. Anyway, you appeared to be either that or it was yesterday's dinner repeating itself.
What I'm actually looking at here, and where are we now? 41 minutes in, which is early for me, but I'll be calling out the chairman. Again, in terms of what I've got out there this afternoon, does anyone here think Seb Haller would have got a game today if the manager had an option?
As March gets a shot in that may have been going wide, but he was allowed to carry that ball far too long for my liking. He comes in from the left, makes a bit of space for the shot, easily gathered by Fabianski, which may be going wide anyway. But took that ball, he took that ball 10, 15 yards, which was about 10, 15 yards too long for my liking.
And just to go back to your point there, Graham, in terms of comparing with early season form. Well, look at the two players that are missing. Mikel Antonio and Arthur Masuaku.
Good point.
Absolutely central to the way that the manager wanted to set the team up, given the players available to him.
Yeah,
and it's no coincidence, since those two have not been available, that we haven't looked quite as good as we did in early season games. And I think, again, it's the fact that they're out and the players that come in can't do those particular jobs all that well, or just can't do a different job well enough to compensate for us having to change our style of play a touch. And that's what's done us. It's the depth in the squad. And I don't care whether you've got Mourinho in the dugout or Alex Ferguson, Wenger, anyone you like. The squad isn't deep enough to compete in this league against some of the teams that we've got to play week in, week out. It's that simple.
Yeah. Some very valid points, I think, made by both of you there. And possibly the most interesting thing that's happened this half is that I've just gone green again for the third time, apparently. So I'm being told on the stream. Gnome, a couple of minutes left. We're getting to the point where...
Wait.
Go on.
Oh. That's just been dreadful. They've been allowing far too much space on the left there. And it's just dreadful defending all the way through there. Difficult to describe just how bad that was. I said earlier on, there was a warning earlier on that March was getting far too much space on the left, and there was March and Webster, and we had Kufal marking them both. No cover. Webster went on the overlap. Just watching it here, plays the ball in square, and Mopé basically turns around, loses the ball, but Rice's interception falls straight back to him, and he's able to prod it home. Just nuts. Appalling defending.
In case you weren't aware, Brighton have scored. It's the dreadful stuff, Rio, defensively from West Ham there. But what a terrible time to concede a goal.
Yeah, timing is absolutely woeful. The only kind of positive you can take out of it is so close to half time, and it's been such an insipid and turgid performance that you hope the rocket goes completely up and we actually come out in the second half with a complete change of mentality and attitude. There's got to be a change of personnel and all, because we've offered absolutely nothing. We've been incredibly sloppy when we have had possession.
Oh, and that just sums up. Easy ball there, and it's just gone nowhere.
Yeah, just to prove that we've done everything, all the simple things we've done completely wrong.
Yeah.
And even that defending. I mean, as Gnome said, Kufal had two players to mark. When the ball come in, Declan actually got the interception in, but the touch was not befitting a player of his quality. And the ball was rolled out, and Mopé, it was an easy tap-in, really. All we had to do was flick it past the keeper.
Yeah.
That's the half-time whistle, guys.
Okay, there it is. Half-time, West Ham United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. And I mean, let's not pull any punches here and make any bones about it. It's a dreadful, awful first half from the Hammers. Not a single shot on target, only 37% of possession, barely strung 3 passes together. And then that sucker punch coming right on the cusp of half-time, just less than a minute from the end of the regulation time. And Pinky, we go into the break, a goal behind, and you can't say it hasn't been coming either, can you?
No, deservedly a goal behind. I mean, fair play to Brighton and Hove Albion. We touched on it earlier. I thought March was the outstanding player of the first half. They were getting all of their attacking impetus down his side of the pitch. And what we saw for the goal we conceded, I think it was Bowen that was missing in action, who should have been coming back to help Kufal. Of course, as soon as we don't work hard enough to do that, we create the opportunity for the overlap. The cross came in. You could argue that Rice should have done a little bit better in the middle. He was the last West Ham player to touch the ball before the Brighton lad banged it in. But I think that might be a bit harsh on Declan. The real issue there seemed to be that Bowen was miles away from where he should have been. My big gripe is we're not moving the ball quickly enough. We're just not moving quickly enough as a team. And you know, argue all you like about the selection. There are 11 West Ham United players out there today who are good enough to beat this Brighton team. So you know, let's not have it all down of, you know, it's this player, it's that player. There's a collective failure there this afternoon, and they all look like they had massive platefuls of Christmas dinner, and they're just jogging around. I mean, and I know that's not the case. You know, I mean, let's just shatter that myth straight away that the players are all sitting there getting tanked up on Christmas Day. They're not. They've probably gone in, done a day's training at Rush Green, all the usual stuff that the pros do, but they just look to be a yard off the pace, and they need to up their game big time.
Yeah, very, very strange first half performance. As Pinky says, it definitely looks like the Christmas pudding is still working its way through the system of most of our players. But no, not the case for Brighton, who have performed very, very well so far in stark contrast. What do you put that first half performance down to?
Brighton haven't been all that great, to be honest. Yeah, they've had
9 shots on goal. Yeah,
but you know, I mean, there's been a couple of sort of more incisive moves where there's a couple of long balls over the top, which Ogbonna hadn't looked over alive to. You know, I mean, this game's not gone by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
But we need to take it to them, and we haven't. We've just been sitting there, letting them come onto us. They haven't been very good at doing anything with it until that last move. I think that was probably their most incisive move of the game. And lo and behold, it's a goal. But it was, as we say, we got overloaded down the left. And March, March had a load of space earlier, about 2-3 minutes earlier on, was it? Where I said he's been allowed to carry that for far too long. Well,
yeah,
same sort of thing happened. I mean, March had the option. Kufal was stuck in no man's land without help. March could have actually taken it and had a go on goal himself. So, rockets need to be launched, as Pinky was saying there. I want to see us have a little bit more attacking intent. When I say a little bit more attacking intent, I mean some attacking intent, because we really haven't had anything to speak of. I mean, there was one bit where Bowen remained onside and lobbed the ball over, but apart from that, I mean, Cresswell's been concentrating on his defensive duties. Johnson's tried to get down the line a couple of times, and you know, that may be a furrow worth ploughing, because the fullback marking him hasn't looked overly happy when he's done it. Bowen's touch on the ball today has been poor. A number of times where it's been played to him and it's bounced off him further than whence it came, almost. You know, but there are too many. Nobody's got that sparkle about them at the moment today. They're playing like I feel at the moment after 2 days of Christmas.
Yeah, and watching 45 minutes of that turgid nonsense doesn't really help either. I mean, talking there, you mentioned, Gnome mentioned Solly March, Rio. Just looking down at my match notes here, and 34th minute, there was the long ball played over the top, which he pounced on and slammed the ball into the side net when he probably could have scored. And there was another chance in the 43rd minute where he cut inside and forced Fabianski to save low to his right-hand side. So the warning signs were there. And then, of course, 60 seconds after that, the ball is in the back of the net from Mopé. We said it's been coming, and, West Ham just haven't responded, have they, at all? And just looks like a very, very limp, disjointed performance so far.
Yeah, we're leaden-footed, we're leaden-headed. The only bright spark I can take out of this is that on the bench we have the tools at our disposal to alter the shape and the dynamic of the way we play, and we can alter this game ourselves and go at them, cause them problems, be quicker in the way we play.
Yeah,
attack them down the flanks. It's just something that we haven't done at all. As Gnome pointed out, I mean, Bowen, who's been a really bright spark this season, has been, let's put it fairly, he's been absolutely woeful today. Not just in open play. He set pieces, which, again, is another plus point for him. They've been absolutely dreadful. everything about this performance in the first half has been absolutely dire. No redeeming features whatsoever.
Yeah.
And for a team like Brighton, who, let's be honest, haven't got that many tools at their disposal, right? They have 9 shots. That just sums us up. It is absolutely abysmal. There's a lot of comments on the forum as well, like backing this up and saying, I told you so, which when the time comes and we go through the forum section, I shall mention. But a lot of people predicted this, and sadly, it appears that Reece Pearson know better than our management at the moment today.
In order to get back into the game, as you suggested there, does that necessitate personnel changes at half-time in your view?
Absolutely. We cannot continue in the same vein as we did the first 45.
Okay. So who are you looking at, do you think, specifically?
Well, the 3 central midfielders. Souček offers that threat aerially when we go forward from set pieces, when we do get one. Better delivery. That brings him into play a bit more.
Yeah.
Declan Rice, you cannot take off. It was a dreadful mistake for the goal, but he's a Rolls Royce of a player normally, and he's our driving force this season. Mm-hmm. So I hate to pick on anybody, and
in Declan's defence there for the goal,
Mark Noble changes the dynamic of our team, the way we set up completely.
Yeah.
In Declan's defence for the goal there, having seen it now for the last 5 minutes because they've got nothing else to show, literally on the telly on it. He got the foot in to cut out the cross and might have cleared it, but his Bonner gets right in his way, and that's what allows Mope to actually get the shot in from the second ball.
Okay.
So get out of the way, Doggy.
Yeah, one of those unfortunate things, really, I guess. But I think the point that Rio is making there is that midfield triumvirate of Souček, Noble, and Rice just has really not worked out at all yet so far when we've seen it this season.
Yeah, I mean, we want more, as I say, more attacking intent there.
Okay.
What changes to make? You could name any number that would have you'd bring on Lanzini, one would hope. And
well, I mean, we have plenty of options, don't we, today? That's one thing. You look through the team, there are options there. Benrahma, Fornals, Yarmolenko as well, Lanzini. So there are options anyway that Moyes has. But Pinky, we said throughout the first half, we don't want to be overly critical of the skipper who's come into the side and in the last couple of games, and as Rio pointed out, hasn't been involved in a winning team yet so far this season. Of course, he's only played 2 games. But what's your views on that? That midfield 3, Souček, Noble, Rice, and how do you get the best out of that? Because we don't seem to be able to do that right now.
No, I mean, we're not. And part of the issue is, do any of us trust Souček to play a forward pass more than 3 yards? He's very good at what he does, but that isn't what he does. And I suspect, Noble's in there supposedly to create some of the passing, but he's not done it today. Personally, I'd make 3 changes at half time. I'd hold nothing back because this is a game we need to win. Of the 3-match sequence, as somebody pointed out earlier, this is probably the most winnable. I'll bring on Fornals for Johnson. I'll bring on Yarmolenko for Bowen, and I'll bring on Lanzini for Noble. Keep nothing in reserve. Chuck them on and make it very clear to those 3 players. Make a difference, because that's what you're going on for. I think we're well past the point in Noble's career where we have to worry about whether or not we're going to upset him. He knows what his role is in the club now. Johnson's a young lad. He's got plenty of years ahead of him. And Bowen, just for the fact that he was completely missing in action for the goal, I'd actually have him lapping the stadium right now at halftime, Phil Brown style. I would have him on the naughty step, and because what's he doing? Where's his head?
Yeah,
we've conceded a goal there. I mean, if we can see, as enthusiastic amateurs, where all the Brighton threats coming from in the first half, professional players can see it. The coaching staff can see it. They are communicating continually with the players on the pitch. As no one actually said, Bowen, you might just want to get back for this, there. So I don't know. He's having an off day today. 3 changes for me, and really go at Brighton, because this is drifting. Ultimately, I touched on it earlier. Haller would not be starting today if Moyes had a choice. Johnson would not be starting today if Moyes had a choice that he really wanted to take. You could say, well, he could have played Fornals, but Fornals is a high energy player. He's probably covered more miles this season than anybody else in our starting 11. So of all the guys that you might think deserves a rest, Fornals would be up there. But I'm afraid a goal down at half time, we need to make a change and make it now.
Yeah, we certainly do. Gnome, are you in agreement with Pinky then? Pinky suggesting that we should bring on, make all three changes now. Fornals, Yarmolenko and Lanzini coming on for Johnson, Bowen and Noble. Would you go as far as that? Or do you think that maybe one or two or even none at all is the way to go?
I'd change something. I mean, one or three. Something needs to happen. I think maybe one might actually do it if that player coming on has more of an attacking mindset about him.
Okay.
And the other two coming on toward a bit later on in proceedings.
So would you perhaps keep change the formation, go 4 at the back then, and bring on a more attacking player for say someone like Johnson, possibly maybe Yarmolenko or even Fornals or even Lanzini?
There are any number of players who haven't performed there today, who you would say couldn't complain if they were taken off.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to pin you down here to a suggestion.
I'd make 5 or 6 if we could, but I don't know. Maybe Lanzini in for Noble, because Noble is not playing any part in the game in that spot just behind Haller and Bowen.
So a straight swap, really, just someone but a little bit more creative.
Or even Lanzini for Bowen, and shuffle things along a little bit. We need someone who can put their foot on the ball in the middle and is looking at going forward. Because all the time we get so far, and then it's somehow back with Rice or Ogbonna again.
Well, it is, and that's kind of backed by the match stats. To say half-time stats, West Ham 38% possession to Brighton 62. West Ham only 3 shots at target, not a single 3 shots at goal, not a single effort on target. And you can understand that perhaps against Chelsea away, but it's pretty poor to defend against Brighton at home. Brighton with 9 shots, as was pointed out a few moments ago, 3 on target, and of course the only goal of the match.
Rio.
2 changes. Yeah.
Okay, Rio. Yep.
Yeah, Yarmolenko and Lanzini are coming on. They're all stripped ready to go. I'm presuming Noble's going to be one's going up. I'm waiting for confirmation who is actually being removed.
Okay.
Brighton making
go.
So like 2 of Pinky's suggestions. Sorry, was that Bowen, Rio?
Noble and Bowen.
Noble and Bowen. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's it's almost as if someone was listening to Pinky there on the stream. Pinky suggesting Yarmolenko on for Bowen, Lanzini for Noble, and also Fornals for Johnson, but maybe that one's to come. So, Pinky, there you go. You're obviously having an influence in the West Ham camp.
Hotline to Moyes. You wear the jumper, you get a vote. That's how it works. Yeah.
So Moyes going for it and looking to make the change. Rio, we were going to dive in very quickly to the match thread and just see what some of the comments were you had lined up for us there.
Yeah, no, understandably, people are absolutely furious. Knee finds, but you reap what you sow. Part of me says, I hope we don't come back in the second half and teach Moyes a lesson. Absolute dire team selection. Junko partner, surprised it's only 1-0 to Brighton. They're better in every department, at least trying to attack the odd time. Hetfield, fair play to him. Brighton as blunt as a spoon, but it'd be an injustice to go in at half-time all square. We have shown nothing at all. And in truth, there's almost something ironic about Rice sending it up for Mope. Brighton are very scrappy and needed something like that for a bit of luck. Moyes has to change this, and he has got it very wrong. There are also a lot of dreadful individual performances on that pitch. Haller's positioning, Bowen's use of the ball, the contracting left side of the defence, Noble's involvement. The faces on the players tells his own story. We've got about 3 or 4 pages full of that kind of comments,
Yeah, it was very busy at half-time on there.
Yeah.
Okay, we are, of course, back underway. Thank you, Rio. Have we got some more there, or should we come back to you a bit later?
Oh, I could go on for months, mate. We could be here till like next game.
Well, while you're doing that, I would point out that Brighton have made a change of their own at the interval. Alzate is on for Lallana. I've noticed, as we're on the attack now with Lanzini. Lanzini plays the ball out wide to Yarmolenko, who's he's not got any help out there, and but he's looking for help now, and he's got the ball to Kufal now. Cross comes in from Rice, and that's a header there from. It's Haller's gone down. He's holding his back. Haller did get the header on that, but seems to have landed awkwardly. Let's have a look at it again. The ball played back to Rice. Yeah, Howard's gone down. I think he hasn't landed on his back. He's landed on his front. Got the header in. Not enough power there to seriously concern Sanchez. But he was holding his back. It was side there. So maybe he's. I
know how he feels. I get like that if I've got to move suddenly. Yeah. The difference is on.
You want too much notice in writing.
Yeah, and I'm looking for something from Haller this half. Anything. Get angry, do something, put a boot in, leave an elbow in a defender's face. Do what you need to do, but look interested because 40-odd million quid for this bloke, and he needs to be taking responsibility. I'm sitting here thinking, do you know what? An old Brighton player, Glenn Murray, in Seb Haller's place, will be putting himself about a bit at the age of 110. Seb Haller needs to do more. He has to do more, and he has to do it today.
Yeah, I'm not sure, actually, just going back to that opportunity there and the potential injury, that it wasn't Johnson's elbow that caught him in the back as 3 or 4 players collided there. But we shall keep an eye on that and just see how it goes. It's West Ham United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion, 1:48.5 minutes gone. West Ham, I suppose, you could say we've looked a little bit more lively since the resumption of play than we possibly did in the entire first half.
Well, we couldn't look any less lively, could we?
Exactly.
Lanzini was involved in the start of that move, and it already sort of looked a little bit more forward thinking. As Lanzini nearly wins the ball back. He does well to get back there, and he's won the ball. He's on the ball now, looking for somebody to play it to. It's Yarmolenko on the ball now. Kufal's there beside him. Backheels it to Kufal. Kufal's back to Yarmolenko, and that's with Rice. Rice gets crosses blocked, and it's out for a throw in. But already there's a little bit more urgency about the team. It's when Lanzini's got the ball, he's instantly looking to go forward. He's not putting his foot on it and thinking, "Okay, what shall I do in a minute or two?" It's
Can I just take this opportunity to point out that prior to that effort on goal from Haller, West Ham went 178 minutes without a shot at goal or a shot on target. If you add up the end of the
no, Graham, you can't. There isn't time.
There you go. So we've broken that anyway with that Haller effort. But as Gnome says, West Ham looking a little bit better already, Pinky, and something to perhaps be cheered about, I guess.
Yeah, and I think if you manage Lanzini, you're going out there now for the second half to show the manager, I should be starting. In this lineup, I should be starting. And
we've got a chance now. Johnson's just got a free kick. Some nice feet. Pushed the ball past. There was a leg, and leg came into contact with Johnson. Johnson went over it. Free kick. Decent position as well. Halfway inside the Brighton half on the left-hand side. And probably the first time Cresswell's got chance Cresswell got to put a cross in. To pull across, though. Although the keeper makes a meal of that, punches it instead of catching it, and we've still got the ball. It's just gone out for a goal kick. That was not good goalkeeping, and it wasn't a great cross, it has to be said, but there was absolutely no pressure on the keeper there. He could have punched that, could have let it go, but Yarmolenko then just basically dummied himself and ran it out of play. But more
encouraging, I think, is what we're saying. I mean,
I'm just not quite sure what's happened there, because Brighton obviously taking the goal kick, just played it straight out, and we've got the ball back. So
Okay.
We're beginning to exert a little bit of pressure. It's all been in their half, and we're looking now to break them down. Yarmolenko's getting paint on his shoes. Kufal cuts in, and that's not a good cross. This is where we have got to be a bit careful, though, because Brighton are now on the break, and we need to be. Welbeck's out on the wing, just trying to cut in, shepherded there by Ogbonna, who now jogs back. But as the players get back, but we need to be. You see that we're letting him. It's that time it was Mopé out on the left where he's got the ball. He's got 10, 15 yards in front of him. Nobody's closing him down. And he went forward a few yards and then decided to try and play the player on his left outside him who palpably wasn't interested. It went for a goal kick. But
I suppose that's always going to be going back to what we were saying there. I mean, I guess, Pinky, that's always going to be a danger. If you're looking to push forward a little bit more, you're likely to leave spaces at the back. But this is something West Ham have got to do now, right? I mean, we are behind, and we do really ideally need to win this game today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you don't get merit points for only losing 1-0. Bottom line, at this point in time, we're losing. We've got nothing. So we've got to commit players forward. It was interesting there that, when Brighton broke forward a minute ago, the youthfulness of Johnson there managing to tear back. So he came streaming past Cresswell, it was. So again, there's enough youth in the team to get up and down the pitch in enough numbers to do what we need to do. We've got to commit players forward, and we are seeing Lanzini looking like a player that's saying, I should be in this starting 11. And dare I say it, credit the manager for that, because sometimes you want to get a reaction out of players. And, he's certainly got that out of Lanzini in the opening stages of the second half. But we need some end product from somewhere.
Yeah, 8.5 minutes gone. Still West Ham United 0. Brighton and Hove Albion 1. Rio, are you slightly more encouraged by what you've seen since half-time?
Well, I'm clutching at very tiny straws here. No, we've made a massive improvement in the first 8 minutes. The thing that's impressed me most is the footwork of Yarmolenko. He automatically comes on. He's had his Arthur Masaraku DVD for Christmas. The twinkle toes are out over there. The Ukrainian twinkle toes and glove combination is winning me over already.
Oh, we haven't done a glove check today, have we? So Yarmolenko, you've spotted.
And
Pinky,
I didn't want to bang on about Yarmo having his gloves on, but actually I was reticent about letting him come on at the start of the second half. I'd have made him take the gloves off. Do me a favour. It's 7 or 8 degrees out there. He's wearing gloves. He's going
to lose a glove every goal he scores.
Well, why not go out with pipe and slippers? Just for real comfort. A smoking jacket. This is nonsense. If you're cold, run around.
That's what Bowen did in the first half.
This is the thing. You can understand it perhaps to agree to perhaps some of the guys who have come from warmer climes, but we're talking about a Ukrainian here. It's not exactly equatorial weather over there, Gnome, is it, at the best of times? Well, sorry, I'm told anyway.
I'm not a great expert meteorologically speaking on the Ukraine, but we've just won the ball back again. Lanzini's looking. He plays it out to Rice, who's got Johnson now on the left wing. Again, it's Lanzini, who's probably touched the ball more in this time. Oh, it's a nice little flick. Played out wide now to Kufal's first touch, lets him down. Still got the ball, though. In the box. Oh, now ref. Well, it's one of those ones that I don't think it's a penalty, but Liverpool might have got it. Player just a little, not sure that was.
Time check, 55 minutes.
It was just a little shove in the back. He went over, but you don't get those. You shouldn't do.
No.
Well, the accident areas tell a story because if you've not got the Sky thing, 44% of the game's been played in the last third in Brighton's end, which will tell you that we're actually, we have got a bit more attacking intent.
Yeah.
As Cresswell gives away a free kick on the halfway line. It's a lot better. It couldn't have been worse, but we need a little bit more clinical. We need to be a little bit more clinical with that final ball, and it was still not quite got that cutting edge yet.
But signs of improvement anyway, and that's I guess all we can ask at the moment. But we're coming up to the 2/3 of the game played stage, and West Ham are still trading here. Very, very disappointing after a desperate first half, quite frankly. Pinky, what's the view on the Brighton forum, just out of interest? I mean, they were sort of fairly scathing of their, Mr. Potter's setup, but I would imagine they're a little bit happier right now.
Yeah, they're a little bit happier, but there's still a lot of doom and gloom on there. There's not a lot of confidence that they're going to hang on for the win. They really are an unhappy bunch, and I'm very surprised to be reading on here a huge amount of criticism of their manager, who, if this is representative of the cross section of Brighton and Hove Albion fans, is pretty much. Oh, hang on, right. Mead's ball is just describing Mark Noble as an 82-year-old. So Mead's ball, you are on my death wish list all of a sudden. It's completely unnecessary to criticise our captain in that way. But no, they're not a happy ship at the minute, the Brighton supporters, and
interesting.
It does make you wonder for a club
right on the attack at the moment, but Fabianski cuts out the cross.
Doesn't spend an awful lot of time with the top flight. What exactly they expect Tony Bloom to fund? Because of all the clubs that are in the top flight currently, they're probably the ones who are benefiting the most from a single investor putting in a vast amount of money just to get them into that division. And I think, not for me really to tell Brighton fans how to behave, but count your blessings, boys and girls. Dare I mention it, the Withdean, wasn't that many years ago.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, we had similar from Watford last year, and look where they are now. 58 minutes gone. West Ham United 0, Brighton Hove Albion 1. No, we said West Ham had picked up since the break, but the last 2 or 3 minutes while we've been chatting there, we've sort of been on the defensive once again.
Yeah, I think Brighton have got a bit of a conundrum because they're not. They're actually on the attack now. It's not a bad ball played down the line of March, but he didn't read it very well. He just about keeps it in, but they think he's kept it in and it's gone for a throw in, and the referee's given a goal kick. So it was pretty close either way. I guess the longer the game goes on, the more defensive minded they're going to be if it's 1-0 with 15 minutes left or so. Sure. It's at the moment they're comfortable and they are attacking when the occasion demands. But there's going to come a moment when they're going to be thinking, shall we stick or twist here, sort of thing. Rice anyway has played the ball out wide to Kufal out there, the orange boots, who plays it down the line to Yarmolenko, who's a couple of step overs, gets the cross in. Oh, yeah! Bit of a scramble. It's Johnson. Well played, Johnson. I think it's his first goal, is it not? Again, attacking intent. We've got the ball out to Yarmolenko. Yarmolenko's one sort of thought in his mind is, let's get that ball in. And, a couple of lollipops, as they call them. And as the subs are going over, because I think, as I say, some stats will correct me, but that may be Johnson's first team goal.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is his first one. But one thing there, massive. I mean, good stuff from Yarmolenko. Huge credit as well, though, to Manuel Lanzini for having the foresight to pull that ball back there.
Brilliant piece of play from Lanzini. Just watching it again. Now the cross comes over. Everyone throws himself at it. Lanzini does, but doesn't connect properly. He's on the floor, and he basically plays it back from the deck. It reminds me a little way of you remember the playoff final goal where Carlton Cole is on the floor and he managed to play it out to Faz Tay. It was that sort of a pass. That's better, guys. Now come on, we've got ourselves back in this now.
In that goal, we saw all the good things that we've been doing, 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Souček getting in there as a physical presence to put off the defenders and the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
You saw Yarmolenko doing a couple of lovely step overs and deliver a good ball in. You saw Lanzini fighting for the ball and laying it back to Johnson. And I have to say, for a young player, as cool as a cucumber, absolutely cool as you like, you would think he was a senior pro with 300 games under his belt. Calm as you like, picked his spot, buried it. Good finish by the young lad. Really superb stuff from West Ham.
Yeah, brilliant. And Rio, I was just going to come to you there and say I've seen this film before, and for all our huff and puff, we go down like the Titanic at the end of it. But far more encouraging signs now, and as Pinky and Gnome have said there, what a great finish from young Johnson.
Yeah, I was just about to point out. I mean, for a young kid, he took that incredibly well. There's no fuss. The keeper was bearing down him, big orange lump coming towards him, but he showed no signs of fear, and that was a really tidy finish by Johnson. Like those changes have worked, with their dynamics changed. We got more intent, got more purpose. We've been bright. Let's hope it carries on now. I mean, this game is there to be won.
Yeah, it really is, and actually, it's a really good point, because there was a few people on the forum and also on the YouTube chat sort of bemoaning the fact that Bowen had been pulled off at half time and substituted as well. But it's worked, as you said. Well, still got a bit Harry Redknapp, but Rio, you're right. It has worked.
We're on the attack again. Johnson's got spring at his heel. With Lanzini, and Souček's played across it out. Tried to float across it towards Haller, but a little bit too high and drifting. And it's great, though, when one of your academy lads scores.
It is.
There's always a little bit extra to a goal when that comes in. You just think, well done, lad. Yeah.
Shades of Freddie Sears from all those years ago. But Rio, I was just saying there about, it's sorry, Pinky, let me come to you in a second. I was just going to say to Rio about those changes. It's really worked. And, you might not have thought Bowen was the obvious change, but fair play to Moyes on that occasion.
Yeah, there's a few comments in the forum saying that Johnson should have been the one that had gone. I mean, I thought Bowen had a very poor free standards first half.
Well, the attack
Bowen
again.
offers that. So Johnson offers that natural left-sided, well, not natural, but he's more of a fullback. He's more of a wing-back.
Yeah.
Bowen, for all his huff and puff, he looked incredibly tired. He looked devoid of thought. Mm-hmm. While Johnson, as we said in the first half, we didn't allow him to play. We didn't allow him to shine. But in this second half, he's made some really telling contributions already. And the goal was the ice on the cake. Incredibly well taken, as we said.
Yeah, West Ham we've been on the attack for the last 5 minutes as well. And something that didn't happen at all in the first half, Johnson and Cresswell are combining together superbly well at the moment. Cresswell, I don't think, really got out of his own half, really, in the first half.
Yeah.
But we're on the ball now and looking better for it. Lanzini, that's Cresswell. Cresswell, another dangerous-looking cross in, but cleared by Brighton. We're still keeping the ball in there. There's this Souček out to Johnson. Johnson tries the nutmeg, but it's gone out for a throw-in. Sorry, Pinky, all yours, mate.
Yeah, I was just saying, picking up your point about how lovely it is to see an academy player get a goal. Yeah, it's a similar sense of pride when I'm at work, actually, and one of the young lads come in, with a perfectly Rolex, and you always think you're on your way there, son. You've got your first electronic tag. You're up and running. And there's a little part of me that just feels a bit of pride every time I see that. So very similar to an academy player getting a goal.
Yeah.
Lanzini's just had an effort go about 7 yards wide, never troubling anyone. Throw in from Cresswell. He flicked it up and volleyed it. One of those goals of the season, if it gets anywhere, it gets in the goal, but wayward, but indicative again of the fact that we've got this attacking intent.
Yeah,
and
very much so. It's not the sort of thing you try. If you're struggling, and you can see the confidence now beginning to flow now among the team.
Yeah, definitely. As you said that, then Fabianski makes a bit of a hash of a clearance, and it's gone out for a Brighton throw. But you see, I mentioned earlier on with the stick or twist thing from Brighton, that's going to be even more uppermost in their minds now because they've got a point at the moment. which they're not going to want to give away too easily. And having said that, the ball ended up back with Sanchez from deep in West Ham territory. So the attacking intent wasn't quite there, although they are on the ball now and beginning to move forward. So
you sense, Gnome, that the point is far more important to Brighton than West Ham, who, as we said right at the top of the show, could really do with all three. But here's an interesting observation. Steve Page, good friend of the shows and of KUMB's, pointing out that Johnson's finish was reasonably similar to Declan Rice's goal against Arsenal, which I think might have been up the other end. Does anyone remember that one?
Same end, I think.
It was the same end, was it?
Yeah, definitely same end.
I see what you mean. The sort of side foot, almost placing the shot with the inside of the right boot type thing. Yeah. Brighton look like they're thinking about another change. Whether that's attacking, let's have a look instead. Number 13, Gross, who's a midfielder, is he not? If I recall correctly. Oh, clearance goes to Yarmolenko now. Nearly plays in Lanzini as a last-ditch tackle. Just takes the ball away. That was Brighton are now sort of looking a little bit wobbly. They're still on the ball, but they've managed to get it out from the side there. But just an inch either side there. That with that pass, and that should have been 2-0. But Brighton now beginning to come on the attack.
If you look at that, I think West Ham had 3 players against Brighton's 1 there in that. So a real chance. If that was a chance there, they got the cross. Just didn't come off, unfortunately.
Everyone, Brighton
we're
again.
Talking over each other here.
Sorry, mate.
It's we're 2/3 of the way through the game. It's West Ham United 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. It's all to play for. Can someone, is someone going to win it? Is it going to be West Ham? Rio, what are you thinking? Last 23 minutes.
I think the impetus is with us, and after the changes at half-time, we've still got one up our sleeve if we need to make anything else.
Yeah.
It's with us. Just going back to what Gnome said earlier about Cresswell being more involved, I think the change in midfield actually helped him because with the 3 central midfielders, Noble, Rice and Souček, they're all naturally deep lying.
Yeah.
So Cresswell couldn't actually step forward into the midfield. That little bit where he can deliver a wand with the left foot, get some decent ball in. I noticed just about 10 minutes in the second half, he appeared in the final 30 yards of their half and made a couple of contributions. That's why he wasn't involved in the first half.
No.
Pinky?
You're playing them off the park and we're 2-1 down.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
stupid short corner
from the corner from Brighton. They took a quick short corner. March has just played a peach for a ball in, and it's Lewis Dunk who I think has buried the ball. A well-worked set-piece goal from Brighton, has to be said.
Yeah, I'm desperately unlucky. I think was it Souček who looked like he was going to clear that, but cannon back off the.
Hang on a second now. Hang on a second now. I'd like to have another look at that if Mr. VAR is watching.
Okay.
I think that's come off Dunk's arm.
Okay.
The head is not, but the clearance of that angle, not that angle there. Let's have a look. That's come off Dunk's arm, and if they're doing this properly, that's going to be no goal.
You're saying with the elbow, it's cannon back.
Yeah, it's come off his elbow. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, Gnome, I bet no one gets surrounded the biscuits in New York keeping an eye on it, are they? You spotted that in real time.
There's definitely contact with the arm there. That's got to be disallowed.
We do have a review, obviously. So let's see what's going to. I mean, if Gnome's right, and I think he's got a very valid point there, Rio, don't you? It certainly looks like his elbow's coming to play there.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I think they've got to rule this out. There's a tug of the shirt as well, I think, in the build-up as well.
Hilaire.
Yeah.
There before that, I spotted that one. He looked like he grabbed it.
Yeah, tug of the shirt. He uses on to cushion it down. This doesn't disallowed. No man ball.
Have a look at it.
Jesus Christ.
What?
Kidding.
You're kidding me.
You give it. Yeah.
I've given the goal. Well, then I give up with VAR. If you've spotted it, we've all spotted it. We've seen it's a handball.
That's incredible.
What's the point? I give up with them.
The goal stands.
That's just perverse. That's just perverse. If you look at that, you see the handball. If you see the handball, you give no goal.
If they're being consistent with what they've been doing all season, that's got to be ruled out.
That's just disgraceful. You know, if he misses that in real time, there's no VAR. Then fair enough. I can see that. But when you've got it and you can see it, and it's like, I'm speechless. It's just, what is the point of it?
Every cloud.
Yeah,
I'm looking at that, and I don't think we're being, I think we're all reasonably fair-minded here, and I'm that biased when it comes to these decisions. But I think all four of us surely are in agreement that that's handball. I mean, it's quite clearly come off his elbow, isn't it, Pinky? Yeah. Surely it's.
Yeah, and just looking at North Stand chat, I mean, I think there's more of them on there agreeing with us than agreeing with Stockley Park. So they know they've got away with. They know they've got away with one there.
Yeah, so yet again, West Ham have been victims of a very dodgy VAR.
He's played it with his arm, for Christ's sakes, referee.
Gnome's still apoplectic about it, as you can see up there. Look, I mean, he can't quite believe it.
It's gone, boom, boom. As I say, next person who tries to defend our referees, I'm gonna throttle. We're on the attack now, anyway. Lanzini, lovely ball through to Souček, back to Lanzini. Let's go and beat these sods now, because we've been cheating like this.
Report Yarmo's taking his gloves off. So,
or he means business. Well, there it is. 73 minutes gone. West Ham United 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 2, and an absolutely bizarre decision not to disallow the goal. But this is it. There we are, Rio. We were all sitting here a few moments ago talking about West Ham potentially going on to grab that all-important third goal, and Brighton have done it. What's going on?
Dare I say, I still think we're going to win this.
Okay.
You know why? I just think there's a little bit of injustice there. I mean, last season, they was doing their best whatsoever to take the fun out of football and disallow every single goal possible. Last year, that would not have stood. This year, they're so lenient. All right? It's gone the complete reverse because of the backlash from last year.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to win this. I think we're going to actually, a little bit of mentality is going to kick in with a couple of players we brought on. Right? A little bit of injustice. It's going to spur us on. We're going to win this. Be 3-2.
Well, let's hope so. We are inside, just coming up to the last 15 minutes of regulation play, Gnome, and we're 2-1 down, and that sort of seems to have taken the wind out of ourselves a little bit. The last few minutes, we've sort of not really done an awful lot.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, what can you do? I mean, you play within the laws of the game, and the referees and the guys at Stockley Park and the referee know the laws of the game, and then they decide not to apply them. I mean, what can they have possibly seen that we didn't? I mean, are they showing a different film or what? Just
it's one of those where I think you can. Sorry, Rio, go on.
No, the only film they're showing in the referee's park at Stockley Park is bloody Sound of Music. I think they're not watching the game of football.
Carry on pratting or something. I don't know. It's just
the point I was going to make there, Gnome, is that I think you can understand why the referee probably didn't see it, because let's be honest, we're all sitting here on TV, and you were the only one. Four of us.
Well, as you said at the time, if he doesn't say that in real
Park, why the VAR officials have not seen it, it's unfathomable.
Well, as I've said, since VAR comes in, if you've got somebody who's crap at their job on the pitch, it's one thing. If you then put him in front of a camera and he's still crap at his job, he's still not going to get the right decision.
There it is.
Anyway, it's a bit scrappy the last couple of minutes, but we're bringing the ball out, but it's balls with Johnson, who plays it down. Lanzini nearly cuts inside, just gets caught back, and Brighton bring it away.
There we go. We're all dumbfounded, as you can tell out there, by that decision. But Pinky, West Ham have got one more substitution left to play. Is it time to throw that final joker in the pack on the table now?
I think we're reaching the stage where I'd actually be chucking Souček up top. You know, I mean, we can't afford to lose this game. That's for certain. We have got to get a goal from somewhere.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, you know, when we got the goal, the fact that Souček was up there mixing it in their 6-yard box, I'd really be inclined to make a more of a tactical switch than a change of bodies.
Yeah.
And just say chuck him forward. I mean, I feel like I should have a hot shout having said that, but you know, I mean, we're in dire straits here because this is not a good Brighton team. And dare I say it, without being too knee-jerk, these are the performances that cost managers their jobs. And, you know, this is not good. And I know where the real villain of the piece is. He's sat in the boardroom, not the dugout. But I just have a feeling today the players went out there at the start of the game almost as if they knew the starting 11 wasn't going to be the right 11. They were, you know, they weren't at it to a man. The attitude wasn't right. And it's almost as if they're all sitting there going, so a squad that's wafer thin, no reinforcements coming according to the chairman. This is it, is it? And it really doesn't help. It really doesn't help. So for me, I'd start chucking Souček forward and just hoiking it long.
That's what it's come to, folks.
Here's the man himself, plays the ball inside. Decent little spell of possession. Lanzini then spreads it out to the right to Rice, who's got it's a terrible cross. Well, it's gone out for a throw-in. But we need to be better in that final third than that, guys. Rice there had players outside him who might have had a better angle on the cross in the first place. Right, we've now been 9, 10, 11. Nearly 25 seconds since that ball went out. It's going on. They still haven't taken the throw in. Expect a lot of that in these last 12 minutes plus stoppage.
Yes. Fair, I suppose, credit to Brighton though. And in their situation, they're gonna take every opportunity.
Well, free kick to West Ham in dangerous position now.
Play going on. So we've got to break it down. It's as simple as that. And Rio, we've got just over 10 minutes to go to do it. Maybe time for that last sub.
Yeah, no. The thing we've got to change is this actual free kick means a lot. And delivery all day has been absolutely rank.
Yeah.
If this one doesn't count, you've got to start worrying because this is when it really matters.
Okay, well, take us through it if you will, sir.
So we've got Lanzini and Cresswell both standing over the ball. I'd actually favour a Cresswell cross into the box, which it comes in, headed by Brighton, flicks out to the far post. West Ham for it back in.
Oh.
But it goes straight into the arms of the keeper.
That should have gone for a corner.
Better delivery, poor end product.
10 minutes or so to go, Gnome. We're reaching a bit now, aren't we? Are West Ham going to? We didn't even think about potentially losing this game, but could very well happen now.
Well, Brighton are sort of the good thing is Brighton are still trying to go forward a little bit, which looks a bit mad to me the way they're doing it.
Yeah.
And they're losing the ball. Lanzini does well to nod that one on. Haller gives it back to Lanzini, who's again looking for help. Johnson then sensible ball back to Ogbonna, plays it to Rice, who's now got options in front of him. Again, we're just keeping hold of the ball at the moment. But we are sort of kind of on the front foot. We're sort of probing and Souček's on the ball now. Looking to switch it over to this left-hand side, but as Yarmolenko runs around the circle. Again, I don't think there's anyone out wide left because that's Cresswell deep in central territory. So that's, the outball you'd expect would be Cresswell out on the wing, but he's not there. So Yarmolenko on the ball. Again, plays it out wide now to Johnson, who's on the corner of the box. Johnson, decent-looking cross in, and that's headed back by Webster for a corner. So decent delivery from this corner, please. And as Bowen's not there, I'd like Cresswell to take it, which as he is. He's going all the way over there to take that. So,
okay. Well, this has been our strength, of course, this season. Set pieces, 9 goals, I think, so far. Was up until last week, at least the most in the Premier League. Gnome, can we do it again?
Let's have a look. Creswell's delivery's not been great this match, but so maybe let's hope we're not hoping too much. Ball comes in.
Yes! And we can.
Souček.
Well, Pinky was just saying, stick him up top, put him forward. It's come from a corner. There's your man, Pinky. 2-2.
Yeah, and I keep going on about it. What were we doing a couple of months ago that was causing the opposition problems? They were at the time. It was that physical presence, checking in and around the 6-yard box. He's buried that. That's a good finish.
It's a little bit, in a way, like the goal up the other end without the handball. It's flicked off. Is there number 5? It's flicked off Dunk, and basically straight onto Souček's head. So it wasn't. Souček didn't have actually time to actually go like that. It's just gone like that, and so there's a little bit of justice in that Dunk's got away with one. The football gods have smiled on us a little bit there, and it is attempted clearance. I said a few minutes ago that Brighton were going to make a change. Someone called Welbeck, and it's finally dawned on them that maybe they want to keep hold of the point rather than go all out for the 3. So Gross is more defensively minded midfielder, if I recall correctly. So, right, okay.
And for those who haven't seen it yet, a well-known high street bookmaker known for their quirky adverts and what have you has put out a tweet. Mark Noble taken off at half-time and replaced by an Argentinian. Won't happen next week when Brexit finally kicks off. He shouts at Moyes.
Well, I think the rules with Brexit is if you're here, you're here.
Yeah.
It's West Ham United 2, Brighton and Hove Albion 2. Rio, you called it, buddy. You said it.
Oh, no. Well, Brighton got in a dangerous position there. Cross came from our right-hand side as Lanzini didn't really do much to cut it out. And March took the ball down, controlled it and hit it was a shot, I'm guessing. It wasn't the most powerful, but it did go across goal, begging someone to tap it in, but there was nobody that far forward to do that, and it went out for a goal kick. So,
Solly March
6 minutes left.
6 to go, as Gnome says. March being probably the most important player in Brighton's team today. But Rio, as I was just about to say there, you called it. You said you still fancy us to win it, and that equaliser. There's still time for a 3rd goal.
Yeah, I still fancy us. I think we're the better side here, and now they've taken off a striker for a defensive player. They're obviously playing for the point. We can exploit this. There's a lot of fortune about that goal. No.
Yeah.
Best delivery put in all game though. Yeah. It still wasn't perfect. It flicked off a Brighton defender, and Souček didn't know nothing about it really.
Yeah.
Right position, right place. But
the point is, Rio, looking at that, what? How can Souček's unmarked? How can you allow a player of that caliber in the penalty area to go in unmarked? It seems bizarre.
Yeah, it's indefensible really in more ways than one from Brighton now.
Yeah.
And this is why we've got to exploit this. We've got 5 minutes left. We've got all the attacking impetus. We've got the players at disposal. Let's exploit this. Let's get the winner. This has got shades for me. The Huddersfield at home a couple of years back. We were 3-2 down about 5 minutes ago. We come back to win it 4-3. This is this kind of vibe to this game. We're going to win this.
Rio is feeling the vibe. Let's hope he can spread that amongst the rest of us and all the way through to the London Olympic Stadium. 5 minutes to go. West Ham United 2, Brighton and Hove Albion 2. Brighton, of course, have taken off Danny Welbeck now, as Gnome pointed out, for a more defensive-minded player in Gross. I was going to cut about 5 minutes ago, Pink.
Free kick went into the box. Rice did well to
Which box?
Keep it live. Our box. Their box, sorry. The right box at the moment. Lots of scrambling. Shot eventually blocked, but now we've got 1-against-1 at the back here as Ogbonna. Oh, he's dived there. Come on, Mope, get up. Well, the referee's saying get up. Now, if you know he's dived, referee,
Go!
why are you not booking him. He's thrown himself between two players. Referee's gone, get up. Well, what do the rules of the game say, ref?
Not having the greatest game today, is he, our referee? No, Pinky, yeah, I was just going to come to you a few minutes ago, just before we scored. Now, you said at half-time that you want to see a lot more from Sebastian Haller in the second half. And I was going to say the only time we've seen him since the break is when he fell over clutching his back in sort of agony. Anonymous again, second half.
I mean, I've just seen him, beaten in a challenge by Lewis Dunk. Yeah. If I could pick a single West Ham United player to have in a pub fight, it's Seb Haller. There's no aggression. There's nothing. There's I'm sorry, but he's got to do more than he does. And I just don't buy all this. We're not playing to his strengths routine.
Yeah.
You could take any one of us off this chat and say, right, your job for the next 20 minutes is when the ball's above you and you're up against Lewis Dunk, at least make him work. Yeah. Feel that you're there. And any one of us could do that. Haller just doesn't even try. And I know there's a player in there somewhere, but heavens above, we're 2-2. We've got the momentum, and you're thinking, for the sake of your teammates, put yourself about a bit. It's just not enough from him. And
yeah.
You were just asking a minute ago how a player like Souček can sort of ghost into the opposition 6-yard area with no one near him. Well, let me tell you, I can guarantee you our scouts are making a note of the players that let him do that, and you can expect to see them on our transfer target list anytime soon. Because we won't miss that sort of quality.
Promising move here now, Johnson.
No.
Well, didn't get across him, but Cressy's put a low cross in. Oh, shot blocked from... That's Kufal there again. It's bobbling about in the box and Brighton clearing. But
get out!
Oh, here we go. It's the let me hold my head thing. We discussed this before, didn't we? You're 2-2 with a couple of minutes left. It's a matter of we don't really want the ball to be coming back into the penalty area. It's hit him on the back. It's hit him on the back, and he's clutching his head. And it's cynical. It's it really hurts. It hit you on the back, mate.
Yeah, it's it's Byrne who's down.
That's a deliberate feigning of injury to break up the play.
To his credit, though, I don't think he's actually clutching his head, is he? But he's sort of prone, and you get the impression that. Mind you, he's received treatment, hasn't he? But it looks like they're checking his skull. So I don't know. An odd one.
Yeah, it's this is winding the clock down.
Yeah,
they're making a substitution now. The player I was hoping wouldn't come on, Jahan Baksh or something like that. Jahan Baksh. He's coming on for Mopé, who's obviously that dive a few minutes ago. Took quite a lot out of him, and the player's still having, and I use the word lightly, quite incorrect treatment. It remains to be seen how much stoppage is added. But if it's any less than 5 with this, I'll be, Brighton can say, "Oh, we've done our job here."
That's an awful name, isn't it? I mean, there's clearly not enough vowels in that name.
Yeah.
And Bashk. I don't know how you pronounce it. I'm not quite sure, but I'm glad I don't have to write that down every week. Yarmolenko is about as
4
far
minutes
as
of stoppage time, which, considering that took 2.5 and there's been substitutions, well, says it all really. Yarmolenko on the ball anyway. He's doing some more step overs. Little back flick to Kufal on the overlap. Cross comes in. Souček's got the header in, but not enough on it to trouble Sanchez, who grasps it out of the air. So
a couple of quick comments coming in on the YouTube forum. Simon Osborne talking about Haller there, saying that Haller has been very passive in his opinion. Marrakesh Talltrees talking about that apparent injury there, saying, easy now, lads, that shot could have killed someone. So
yeah,
we're 3 minutes left. Rio, 3 minutes of the added 4, which, as Gnome rightly points out, appears to be a little bit shallow given the the kind of injury feigning and number of substitutions. But are you surprised that we haven't made that final change yet?
Yeah, I'm very surprised. I know we've been on the front foot a little bit more, and we've been like dictating the play, so to speak. But just a little bit of another change of dynamic, bringing Bremar on just to kind of trouble the Brighton defence with his pace and trickery. It wouldn't hurt, would it? Just bring that extra dynamic in to try and win us the game. Because let's be honest, the first half was dire. We've improved massively in the second half. We haven't been amazing, but we've done enough to win this, and it's still not out of question. And we can panic these lot into conceding another goal.
Couple of minutes left to go. West Ham maybe will get one more opportunity to win the game. Let's see if we can grab it. Pink, are you equally surprised that we've still left another change on the bench?
Not really. I think the manager will look at this and say he's got enough out there at the minute to win the game. If there's enough time, I don't think changing a player at this stage is actually going to do it for us. If it's going to happen, it's this lot will do it. Sadly, I think we'll be out of time. I think Gnome's already made the point. It looks to be at least 2, possibly 3 minutes shy of what it should have in terms of additional time. But if we do end up with just a single point, we can look at VAR for one of the goals. But actually, the other goal, we've just given away a soft goal, and we can debate all we like the merits of the starting lineup. But we were just so bad in the first half. Do we really deserve more than a point today?
Well, we will debate it very soon because the final whistle is upon us. Gnome, take us through, if you will, to the final whistle. There's 40 seconds left to go. It's West Ham 2, Brighton 2. Can someone grab a winning goal?
Well, Brighton have played a long ball into the box, but Fabianski's aware. That was Kufal sort of shepherding it, and Fabianski gathered. Long ball played forward now. Haller wins the ball, but it's not landed anywhere claret and blue, and Brighton hoof it up high. Ogbonna heads it back forward. Haller's having his shirt torn off there, but nothing given. Very scrappy at the moment. Lanzini brings it down a little bit, and there's a foul there on Souček. So one last chance to launch it into the box from halfway line territory. And the referee's making sure it's the correct blade of grass, which it isn't because the foul occurred in their half, but never mind. So Cresswell on the ball, going to hoof it long and high, I would hope. Up it goes. It's nodded off. Just for a second, I thought Rice was going. Another Brighton player goes down, and that's the final whistle. Something deeply unsatisfactory about that. We were rubbish in the first half, and then just as we were getting our foothold in the game and looking like we were going to take it to them, that VAR happens. Equaliser, slightly fortunate in the way it came off Souček, but I think the point was what we deserved.
Yeah.
Second half performance, all things being equal, that was a game we could have actually gone on to win. But stitched up by some breathtakingly substandard officiating again.
Well, we'll come to that very soon because I think that's possibly the major talking point to come out of the game. It has, of course, as Gnome says, finished West Ham United 2, Brighton and Hove Albion 2. For West Ham, 2 points dropped as we attempt to remain in that pack chasing European spot. The first goal of the day scored in the final minute of the first half. Break on the left ended up at the feet of Mopé, who fired home from just 8 yards out to give Brighton a half-time lead. The Hammers came from behind to score on the hour mark, where Ben Johnson scored his first senior goal after some good work on the right flank by Yarmolenko, and also a prone Lanzini on the floor inside the 6-yard box. And Brighton retook the lead, and as we say, in the most controversial of circumstances, 20 minutes from the end of full time when Dunk scored, even though the arm, there was quite clearly an arm used in the build up to the goal, but VAR decided that it wasn't sufficient to rule it out. So the goal stood. And then West Ham coming from behind for a second time to take a point, the minimum really that we would have expected from this game, as a Cresswell corner was deflected off of Dunk onto Souček's head, and an unmarked Souček's head, who scored to make it 2-2 and earn a point for West Ham. Immediate post-match thoughts from the team here. We'll start with Rio today. Rio, we desperately wanted a win to, keep up with the teams above us. In the end, we've had to settle for a point.
Yeah, no, I just think the way we sat in the first half was incredibly negative. It wasn't fitting the way that we've been playing so well all season, I hate to say it and hate to keep banging the drum. When Mark Noble plays alongside Declan Rice and Thomas Souček, it always has a dynamic. You can play 2 out of 3. You cannot play all 3 together. And that first half was probably their worst performance of the season, I think.
Yeah.
We couldn't string 3 passes together. We had no attacking impetus whatsoever.
No shots on
target. Changes come at half time. And, Lanzini, who's chomping at a bit, and for my money, should have started in the central midfield role in the attacking space behind the strikers. Right? He completely transformed us. And the change was there for everyone to see. We were sloppy everywhere, though, wasn't we? The first half was abysmal. We had delivery into the box until Souček's equaliser was equally shocking throughout the game, And this is where we thrived part of the season. Now, was it 8 or 9 goals we scored from set pieces this season?
Yeah, there might be 10 now, yeah.
Yeah, 10 now. But for something that we've been really strong at, it was absolutely shocking today, completely throughout the game. I still thought at the end that we might nick it. From where we was and that performance in the first half, you got to take the point. You've got to be happy with it. But that is not where we should be. I think it's poor set up from the start, poor game management of the players on the pitch. Someone should take responsibility and try and alter the dynamics themselves. If the thing the manager's not saying isn't working, we've got enough seasoned pros there to go and say, hang on, I'll take the game by the scruff of the neck. I'll change things. I'll make things work. And no one wanted to step up and do that. And, not happy, but point's a point, We're still not beaten Brighton home since their return to the Premiership. They're still not home since 1983 in the top flight.
Is that 7 games now, wasn't it? Was it 3 draws and 3 defeats? I think
it's now 4 draws, 3 defeats since their return this time round. But we're not beaten at home in the top flight since 1983.
Well, if that isn't indicative of where West Ham are as a club in the last few years, then I don't know what is. Can go out and get some big results against big teams, but failing against teams you'd expect to beat. And I think, Pinky, Brighton were a team we expected to beat today. Going into the game just 1 point above the drop zone, not playing well at all, only 2 wins all season, and yet we've had to come from behind. Now, once again, West Ham have come from behind. I'm trying to think of the positives, so I suppose that is something. But overall, disappointed?
Massively so. One of the things we tend to do as supporters, I guess all club supporters do it, you look down your fixture list and you go against those teams. You would be fortunate to get anything, but against these teams, you'd expect to get something. And that's not arrogance. It's just based on the balance of where you think your club are relative to other clubs.
Yep.
Today, we're facing a Brighton and Hove Albion team. They haven't got a huge amount of depth either. And, they're sitting below us in the league table. We're playing at home. And so you'd think that we should have had the edge going into at the start of the game. But the first half was the worst 45 minutes from West Ham United that I've seen in this calendar year. No question about it. We were lethargic. We were slow. The tempo of the game was glacial. Slow of movement, slow of thought, slow to pass the ball. It was just poor football in the first half. And I take Rio's point about the midfield trio and all the rest of it, but ultimately, can anyone think of a single West Ham United player who played well in the first half? A single one, and that's really what we're left looking at. Then it's, half time, the manager's made the change, but I suspect he's also dished out a few choice words in the dressing room. And we've come out and suddenly we look like Brazil 1970. We suddenly look at a team that wants to attack. And the big difference for me, Cresswell got forward an awful lot more.
Yep.
And if you look at all the stats this season, the number of balls he plays in from deep into the box, that is our main attacking threat in open play. And, in the first half, he just wasn't at it at all. He got forward a bit more in the second half, but it was just the attitude changed at half time. And I just wonder, without setting too many hairs running, if, dare I say it, the players might know who the best starting 11 is. But I've got to be, no, I don't have to be cautious here. We're just chewing the fat. I wonder if the players are happy with Noble not in the team. I'll come out and say it, because that was not a happy ship in the opening 45. And you're not going to find a bigger fan of Noble than me in our supporter base. But we don't seem to be a happy ship when he's on the field at the minute. And I just wonder, a lot of the positivity we've had this season when he hasn't been in the team, and since he's got back in the team, there's a little bit of, shall we say, not quite the same zest about our play. And you hear all sorts of whispers, and maybe, just maybe, his time has come now at the club. And that's a great shame if that is what's going on, because I don't think he deserves that. But it's almost as if there's like a changing of the guard quite naturally earlier in the season, and for the manager to have to go back to, dare I call it, the previous regime. Maybe one or two of the players see that as a retrograde step, and they'd be happy moving forward. So, we got the point. I don't think we deserve more than a point, because whilst we clearly won the second half, for want of a better phrase, in the first half, we just didn't do anything. And as the home team, the onus is on us to actually make the play. So ultimately, I'd rather take a point than none, but be in no doubt that's 2 points dropped at home.
Okay.
That's 2 points dropped.
Thank you, Pinky. No, Rio called it an incredibly negative setup. And Pinky continued that theme by suggesting that it was the worst 45 minutes West Ham have produced this calendar year. How much flack does David Moyes have to take for his tactical approach today and putting out that particular starting 11?
It was a negative starting 11. It was purely set up to sit back and try and play on the break. To play on the break, you need pace. You need things to be delivered quickly. And God bless him, Noble. He's not the player that you want in there where you need the ball moved forward quickly. He'll automatically, if he's actually playing, normally he's playing a bit deeper, but he'll put his foot on it and be looking what the safe option is, rather than having a look forward to see if there's anything that might sort of cause consternation in the opposition defence. The changes at half time immediately showed more in attacking intent. I think against Brighton, that's the sort of side we should have lined up with to start with.
Okay, so in your view, there is some, flack to be aimed at Moyes for.
Yeah, I think it was the wrong side for the match.
Okay.
We were making things happen in the second half.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get onto the refereeing, but that changed the whole dynamic of the game. But we'll leave that. But the point being is, if we'd started out the first half like we started the second, then we might have been comfortably ahead, or at least ahead. because would have actually shown something in attack. We didn't. So, we're already up against it by half time.
Yeah. But even the I mean, we've made the suggestion there that David Moyes is partly at fault for that particularly negative setup. But Pinky made the point in the first half, knowing that at the end of the day, there's still 11 players out there on the pitch, and I don't think it's particularly biased to look at the two sets of teams and say that West Ham probably had the better quality players out there. Why didn't they perform today in that first half? And, I think we're all in agreement. It was an absolutely dreadful first half.
Yeah.
Pinky said it was the worst he'd seen this year. For me, it was up there with the first half against Newcastle. I mean, it was awful. So what happened? What went wrong?
We get back to, I mean, I'm afraid it does come back to the selection. Yes, we got 11 players out there, but excuse me. If you look, you've got Rice, you've got Souček, you've got Noble, none of whom are primarily attack-minded. Bowen is sort of playing, I don't know if you had him as a striker or a sort of one behind the striker, but Bowen had an off day. So the one of those four, if you like, that had attacking intent wasn't having a good day. And you've got three players. Rice's job, he gets in, he breaks it up, he pushes forward, brings other players in. Souček, something similar, but he'll go and join the attack a bit more than Rice does. Yeah. I'm sorry, this is not criticism of the man as a man or anything like that, but I couldn't see what Mark Noble either last week against Chelsea or this week was supposed to be bringing to affairs, because if he was playing behind a front 1.5, 2, if you like, he wasn't contributing to an attack. So you've got, if you like, if you count Bowen as a midfielder, and I realise that formations these days are slightly flexible and all that, but you've got four midfield players there. One is naturally an attacker, attacking midfielder. You've got three who are naturally slightly more defensively minded. It's kind of no surprise that you needed one of those three to really, really, really change the game they've been playing, in Noble's case, for the last 20 years or something like that. Yeah. And Noble was I'm afraid in that particular lineup, in that particular position that they've got him playing, he's a square peg in a round hole.
Okay.
So and it showed.
Okay. All right. Okay. Fair enough. So a little bit of criticism from the team, for the manager, and some for the players as well. And just one of those days when everything kind of combined in the wrong sort of way, really. But one thing that you can't legislate for in the changing room or before the game on the training field is a dodgy VAR call. And we've seen one or two of those this season. And yet again, the game has hinged, today's result has hinged on a very, very controversial call by the team at Stockley Park. Now, of course, the incident I'm referring to is the dunk goal on 70 minutes. It's 1-1. The ball comes over, it's a corner. Dunk's arm is across him sort of like this, and the ball clearly cannons off his elbow. I think we all, Gnome saw it initially live. The rest of us sort of caught up and had a look at the replay, and we were all in agreement, and we were all kind of fairly certain that the goal was going to be ruled out. Oh no, we were quite wrong. Wasn't the case at all. It was allowed to stand. But yet again, here we are at the end of a game, and VAR has cost, it's not just West Ham. Let's not think it's only us who gets affected by these decisions. But yet again, a game, and the outcome of a game has been determined by a VAR call that you just can't, you just can't make sense of. Pinky, it's about half hour now. We were all sitting here at the time looking at it and thinking, why is it not been given? And Gnome, I'm sure that they'll be discussing this on the TV, so I don't know if you can perhaps keep an eye on that for us.
I was keeping an eye on it, but because Sky basically expect everybody to want to watch Liverpool warming up for half an hour. They've actually gone straight over to Anfield.
Okay, so we're not going to find out then. We won't know what.
I've retuned. What they often do is they have the manager's reaction on Sky Sports News.
Right.
So I've retuned over to that.
Okay.
If it's on anywhere else, if somebody can channel up and let me know, perhaps.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Well, we're not going to know. We're not going to hear Carragher and Neville and the team.
But I mean, they had a very quick discussion about it, and Redknapp was saying, well, in a way, the rule's bizarre, but and we need common sense, but as it stands, that shouldn't have counted.
Okay, so we have the players and the experts, I guess you'd say, as opposed to us enthusiastic amateurs, agreeing then that it should have stood. So that's the TV people believing it shouldn't have stood. That's us lot here believing it shouldn't have stood. Well. So I guess that's pretty much everyone. Pinky who's looking at that thinking it's no goal. What's happened? Try and make sense of that if you can for us, Pinky, because it's cost us to have 2 points ultimately.
This is straightforward. I mean, first, let's park the paranoia. It isn't just us that get affected by this. It's all clubs except Liverpool. But that really doesn't need to be repeated because we all know that. So we all get impacted. For me, I'm firmly in the camp of get rid of it because, firstly, there's subjectivity as to when it is used. It's used on offsides. It's used, in theory, on handballs. Is it used at every single corner kick where there are repeated fouls committed by defensive teams jostling attacking players? No, it's not, because matches would finish 17-16 with 30 penalties every game. So firstly, that's the subjectivity of when it's used. Then you've got the subjectivity of the competence of the officials using it. And actually, if you had the same incident and you had 3 different Stockley Parks, so if you had almost like boxing judges when they're scoring a fight and they're counting the number of punches that are being landed, you very rarely get exactly the same scores. And I'm just willing to bet if you had 3 completely independent Stockley Parks and said, right, you're all seeing the same footage, so you've got an official independent, he's sealed off from the world, and he's just looking at the same angles as the other 2, whether or not you'd get 3 all saying, oh, that's okay, or 3 saying, no, that's not okay, or you get a 2-1. Because that, to me, you'd know absolutely then how much of it is based on opinion and how much of it is based on so-called fact that the VAR technology is supposed to be there to provide. And so if they want to prove that it's a system that works, I'd like to see that system where you've got 3 totally separate, unconnected booths where the ref can just say, yes, right decision, or no, the wrong decision. And if they're all unanimous, and they get it right week after week, then I'll say, okay, we'll stick with VAR. But I suspect that would never be the case.
Yeah. And
therefore, for me, the subjectivity of the people viewing it is in question. And the final point is the capability of the technology. And there was a lot of discussion a year ago about the frame speed in certain incidents in terms of what they're actually watching.
Yeah.
And I think there was enough anecdotal evidence, certainly, that actually the cameras just weren't quick enough in terms of what they were recording. So you've got 3 grey areas there, to me, that says it's not a system that is foolproof. And if it's not foolproof, why are we bothering with it? Because as you pointed out, it is determining the outcome. It's determining the outcome today. We believe that's the case. The officials in Stockley Park disagree, but if there were 2 Stockley Parks, would both officials agree? If there were 3, would they agree? And I don't think they would. So for my money, get rid of VAR, because then you're back to just one question. Do you believe in the integrity of the match officials, yes or no? If it's a no, then you've got the wrong officials. If it's a yes, that you believe they're being honest, then you then say it's only a game and the match officials are doing the best they can honestly. But this idea that we can use technology to prove empirically that the right outcome has been achieved is utter bunk. It's nonsense. And we've seen it again today. And we'll see it again many times before the end of the season, whether we're West Ham United supporters or supporters of lesser clubs. You know, it's not a system that's working. And I think it's probably a problem in particular in English football because of the way we play the game in this country compared with, say, Germany or France or Italy or Spain. I think the pace of the game in our league generally, the physicality in our league generally is such that I don't think VAR is up to the job. I'll get rid of the damn thing because, you know, it's not foolproof. And worse than that, if you're actually at a game, the whole point is you want to cheer a goal or you want to go, no, when you let one in. That's the whole point of it. When you can't actually do either of those things because you're waiting on some bloke in a porter cabin 200 miles away to give his verdict, it kind of removes the joy. You know, it's like, it's just, you know, it's a passion killer.
Yeah,
that's the only way I can describe it. It's a passion killer. You know, and it's not doing what the authorities thought it was going to do. And for my money, just get rid of the damn thing.
there you go. VAR, the footballing equivalent of a condom, perhaps you could argue. But one question I would like to put to you, Pinky. I mean, on VAR, and I think the point is today, if VAR hadn't have existed, then there would have been no question that the goal would have been given, and perhaps we would have all been sitting here ruining the fact that there wasn't some sort of mechanism in place to check incidents like that. But I'm just wondering that would it perhaps help if we knew exactly why that decision had been made? So, for example, there was an audio feed in the way perhaps that they do in cricket and rugby, whereas the umpire or the referee or the adjudicator at Stockley Park would explain why they reached the decision they had. Because we're all sitting here thinking we've been robbed, but it could be the case that there was a very, very good reason why the guys at Stockley Park felt the goal should have stood. So in your opinion, would that change it at all, or is it just for you a no-no completely?
Well, for me, it's a no-no because I'll go back to one of my other points, is the subjective use of it. Would they be explaining why at every single corner kick, why there hasn't been a penalty awarded for the dozen or so fouls that are getting committed by defensive teams at every single corner kick? And to me, you either use it to referee the game totally, or you don't use it at all. What we've got is a set of match officials now who are getting decisions made on their behalf. I can't imagine that's going to improve their long-term decision making. And the comparisons with other sports, you know, cricket, you know, a few of us are huge cricket fans. We've seen technology work very well in cricket. We've seen the way that they've applied the technology work very well in cricket. But there was a run out in the Boxing Day test in Australia yesterday, where I think it was Tim Payne, who was, you know, they've got every kind of microscope under the sun on it. Was his bat over the crease before the bails were broken in a run-out opportunity? And therefore, even in a game where the technology is deemed to have been a success, it isn't answering every single question every time. I just think the nature of football is such that I don't think VAR's got any place in it. And I accept your point that, yeah, well, the Brighton goal would have stood today. Absolutely. And you know what? If I knew any Brighton fans, which thankfully I don't, but if I did, and if I was ever allowed in a pub again, which I can't see happening anytime soon, I could have an argument with a Brighton fan and they'll be laughing and we'd all shake hands at the end of the night and all the rest of it. And they'd go, just read your paper tomorrow, son, because it will show it was a goal. I can put up with that because I've had that for 50 years. I haven't got some idiot in a caravan saying, oh no, I've definitely viewed the footage and that's definitely okay. When I've not seen anything that Sky put up here this afternoon to suggest otherwise. that we're wrong and the officials have got it right. So to me, VAR is not doing what they thought it was going to do.
Yeah.
And just get rid of it.
Okay.
Could I step in on the cricket and rugby points you've raised there, Pinky? There is one significant difference between referees in professional football and cricket umpires and indeed rugby officials to a certain degree, is that when they're using technology, you have every confidence that the decision that will come out of it will have been made in the interest and in the best attempt to come to the right decision. And that's the only concern they've got. And if that means overturning a mistake by an umpire or a rugby referee, then they'll say, no, you got that wrong, mate. And they'll say, fair enough, not out. It was, it pitched outside leg. And he'll turn around quite happily. I got it wrong. Do the old thing. Play on. Now, the issue that we've got here is that you've got the same people who are on the pitch one day running VAR in Stockley Park, who, and you mentioned subjectivity, they have a natural inclination to try and back up. It's their mate out there. So if he's allowed a goal, well, am I going to disallow this, whether or not it's disallowed, unless I really, really have to? If I can find a way, to take today's one, if I can find a way to allow that goal, I will. And I'll say I'm not sure that hit his arm or whatever. And it's a consequence of the fact that the refereeing organisation runs itself. You've got referees are basically running themselves. Quite contrary to FIFA rules and setup, the FA should be responsible for refereeing, and they should actually be sort of independent and over the top of that. We've got PGMOL, which is the FA have got a share in, Premier League have got a share in, and it's basically referees are left to run it for themselves. The one group with a vested interest in saying everything's hunky-dory are the guys in charge of it all.
Okay.
So it's no wonder that if it's going to somebody at Stockley Park, I don't know about you, I've got no confidence that decision is going to be taken first and foremost to come to the right decision as to what's happened.
Okay.
Because
No, I'm going to jump in there because I want to stick, if we can, to today's decision.
Sure.
Because I don't think anyone's really. We all have our own thoughts in mind about VAR, but let's come back to today and talk about that. What possible reason can you see for VAR taking a couple of minutes to look at that incident today and saying, yes, the goal should stand? Rio, I'll come to you in just a second, buddy. Did you want to jump in there?
The only reason that was not disallowed today was because it's Christmas. It's a season of goodwill to all men. There's no fathomable excuse to not give it. I mean, it was... First, it was the tug of the shirt,
Yeah, of course. We haven't even mentioned that yet.
And I don't doubt the Etch-a-Sketch crew at the Stockley Park were even bothered looking at that part, Yeah. It was a blatant handball.
Yeah.
Right. This is not the subject for me to discuss, because all I've got in my thoughts about VAR is negativity and the ability to take the rinse out of it. So, it's a season of goodwill to all men. Let's just put West Ham. Right, let someone else with a sensible point of view take over now, because that's it.
Well, I think you're offering us as good an excuse as any of us could, Rio, for the reason, because as I said, we none of us have got any idea. Pinky, why that?
But here's the thing. Clearly, the people watching it thought it didn't come off his arm. That can be the only conceivable reason.
Yeah.
And if they have that opinion, that can only be for one of two reasons. Either their eyesight isn't quite up to the job, or the technology isn't quite good enough to show it that it absolutely 1,000,000,000% certain came off his arm. Just the fact that we're all convinced ourselves we saw it.
Yeah.
The referee's sitting there in his bunker in Stockley Park, might sit there saying, no, it's not as conclusive as all that. Which is why my sort of madcap theory of, well, why not have 3 Stockley Parks? They all get shown the same footage for the same duration, and they all cast a vote, and you go with the majority decision. Because at least that way, you might get 3 straight consistent decisions. You might get a 2-1, but at least you know that there is still some doubt in it somewhere. But this idea that what is currently being served up as a definitive, never get it wrong solution is just poppycock. It's nonsense. And
absolutely.
Boxing matches get determined by majority decisions.
Yeah, I was just going to say that actually, you get that system in boxing, obviously, don't you, with the 3 judges, and you have a majority decision or whatever. But no, Rio's rightly pointed out. I mean, we haven't even mentioned the shirt tug on Hilaire that preceded the handball. Neither given, neither taken into account.
Yeah, which is again even more obvious. I mean, perhaps he's so busy looking for the handball and trying not to see it that he's missed the sort of grab of the shot. I don't know. You say what possible reason could he have had for not giving that as handball? I cannot tell you. Because it's ball's come, it's hit him initially, admittedly on the hip, it's come up, but it's flicked off there, and it's plain, clear, and obvious. Why isn't somebody out there saying, "Well, I've looked at it, I don't think it hit him," and we're showing it to you now. If you're not seeing it now, Pinky said, is it because he's not up to the job? Well, clearly yes, because we see this sort of thing week in, week out. So I cannot give you a reason why that was allowed to go.
I think we're going to only have to assume, Gnome, that we are all particularly biased as we are, and for some reason, we're missing something collectively.
They showed it again, and I mean, I was looking at the BBC feed, which has quotes from whoever's doing the commentary on the radio. Don Hutchison was the co-commentator, and when there was the pause, Don Hutchison was saying, stuff along the lines of, well, it's an incredibly harsh rule, but there has been, it has benefited from it coming off his arm, and then when the thing came up and said goal, no handball, Don Hutchison's first words was, "Wow." I've got David Moyes now. Do you want to come back to me?
We shall do that. We should do that. Let me move on to Rio if I can, because I wanted. Rio was the one who pointed out the shirt pull, and you're looking at that incident, Rio, and you're thinking, forget the handball, forget or the elbow, whatever it was. But looking at that in isolation, you'd think that action on Hilaire in its own would be enough to rule the goal out, would it not? And so two incidents overlooked there by the match officials, and I don't know. It's very, very strange. Very, very strange.
We've seen numerous instances this season where people have been given penalties by going down because they've had their shirt marginally tugged.
We have.
Right. That was a handful. That was like he was basically trying to rip it off his back. So how they can't see that instance in the first passage of play, as you say, forget the handball bit, because it was clearly handball. There's no question about that. All you have to do is go back 5 or 10 frames, and he's got a grasp of his shirt, and he's actually dragged him to the deckhand.
So is there an element, perhaps, Rio, that if it's the other way round, if the tables are turned and it's a defender tugging a striker's shirt, that is deemed more permissible as a foul than perhaps the other way round, and if it's a striker tugging a defender, because that's what we've got here, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a bit of a lashback to last season where they were trying to find every single conceivable way of disallowing goals. Now they're trying to find every single conceivable way of allowing them. No? It's gone from one extreme to the other. I mean, I think this year, we've seen the increase in the amount of goals scored. Everyone's laying the blame at, there's no crowd get on backs and things like that. There's also the factor of VAR being... they know they made a lot of mistakes last season, but instead of trying to find a balance and getting people to look at it from different angles and looking at it properly, they're now going from one extreme to the other.
Yeah.
And allowing everything, right? It's an entertainment business. Yeah, I get that. But you've got to strike a balance. You've got to get it right, you know?
But
you're going to lose customers, lose people watching the game by introducing more unfathomable results and outcomes than you are by trying to think the right word here. It's ineptness, you know, it's biased ineptness. You're going from one extreme last year where let's distill everything to this year, let's give as much as possible, you know. The people in charge are not looking at this from a fan's point of view, you know. They're not looking at A, of the flow of the game, A, of the passion, B, of the passion of the game, and C, what people actually want. What people actually want is fairness, and you're not getting that on either manner. Like I say, it's been one extreme to the other this year, and both have not worked.
You said there that football is an entertainment business, and that makes me think, who exactly is being entertained by VAR? Is it because obviously if you've got, you know, if you've got an investment in that particular match, you know, you don't really get entertained by it. It's more frustrating than anything. Are the neutrals entertained? I mean, who's it benefiting?
The people getting entertained by it are the TV companies who are supplying the millions and billions of pounds that keep the game flowing at the moment.
Okay.
The more talking points they have, the more people they can get involved and get engrossed in little incidents like that, where, like we saw today, there were 2 clear instances where that goal should have been disallowed.
Yep.
They can fill the X amount of hours they have, 24/7, with talking points discussing these kind of things, as we are doing now.
Okay.
But we're more reasoned and we're more like sensible than they are. They're just filling up airtime for the sake of it. We're filling up airtime because, let's face it, the 4 people here, know a damn sight more than the Sky TV people who are running the business and pumping the millions of pounds in it. All they care about is the Asian market, the foreign market. They don't care about the man on the street. They care about filling airtime. Football fills airtime, and that's all they care about. Well,
it's certainly filled ours for the last 20, 25 minutes or so, because that's all we've been talking about. We, you know, as we said, we should be sitting here talking about a football match and, you know, an entertaining game, I guess, if you from a neutral perspective. 4 goals, West Ham coming from behind twice to earn a point, and yet here we are just sitting here talking about, you know, a couple of very odd decisions. I mean, and let's be honest, when it's always been talking points, but I think it comes back to what Pinky's saying, is that if it's spur of the moment, if it's something that, as in today's example, the referee might possibly have missed, maybe because he's got a poor angle, he can't see the boy's being shielded by another player. You accept that. These things happen. It's part and parcel of the game. But this is the issue, isn't it, with VAR, is that it's not anymore. It's such a clinical business where they are taking the time to look at it very closely from all angles, or it should be all angles. We know that they don't even have cameras on the touchline, as we discovered against Man United a couple of weeks ago in another bizarre VAR decision. And that's the issue, isn't it? I think really that, you know, Pinky said you can go in the pub with the opposition fans, you can laugh about it if you've been wronged, but, you know, I think the sense of injustice is even greater with VAR than it would have been before. And I've always been a big advocate of VAR. I've always maintained that the system is inherently sound. It's just the interpretation that's the issue. But I'm beginning to sway, I've got to say now, with the things I've seen this season. But anyway, we could go on about VAR all night, and we have done many times in the preceding weeks and months. But we're going to move on now. Gnome is going to talk to us about David Moyes. Rio is going to tell us what the KUMB forum is doing, and Pinky's going to do the same for the Brighton North End chat.
North Stand chat, yeah.
North Stand chat. We'll come to Gnome first of all, because Gnome's been listening to David Moyes' post-match interview. Was Moyes as aggrieved as we are, known by what he's seen today, or was he quite happy with the point at the end of it?
He was happy with the word resilience was used several times. The reason for the team selection was that, you know, he was hoping that the team that he put out would play basically a bit more like the team that he put out in the second half, but clearly that wasn't the situation. So he said the substitutions were required. He was pleased with the substitutions. On the handball, he said, "Well, it's incredibly harsh when they're disallowed, but that's the laws of the game, and unless they've changed it, then that goal should not have stood." And so it's it's been he didn't dwell on it, which so it was a very short interview, but he was very pleased with the resilience, the fact that we came behind from being behind twice, and he was pleased with the point, but slightly it was a slight aggrievement of the goal. It wasn't a very long interview, so
okay.
Not really much to say there. I would just say that the injustice you mentioned just before we do move on, is heightened by the fact that yes, it's incredibly harsh when that sort of thing happens if you have a goal disallowed, but they never seem to find any problem in disallowing our goals when it's happened, and that's where the injustice lies. Okay, it's harsh on him, but it was harsh on us the other way. Antonio, Rice, we've seen that a lot in the last sort of.
Well,
so
Bowen last week, of course. I mean, we haven't even mentioned that the incident against Chelsea where we felt the goal should have stood. But yeah,
they've got
goes
Potter
on
at the moment. If you want to stay with me, Potter's disappointed not to take 3 points. Performance-wise, he said there's lots of, as the teletext stopped, lots of things gave us reason to think there could be 3 points. What was the key to losing the points? We didn't defend the corner for the second goal, and those are the details that get you punished. We need to do more. We need to do better. Maybe we could have kept the ball better in the second half. It's an allusion to the way West Ham were playing. We felt relatively comfortable, just disappointing not to get all 3.
Okay.
Just saying. Thought we were the better team in the first half. We deserved to be ahead. Not too many chances. Well, I'm not sure, but we deserve to be 1 up. We played it. We played into the second half a bit, but we could have been smarter. In the end, we got the goal back on ahead. Probably could have managed the situation better, but apart from the second goal. He said, "I don't celebrate goals until they've been checked. You never know." But he hasn't commented on whether he thought it was a goal.
Okay, that's interesting. That's usually quite telling, isn't it, in itself?
Yeah. We're frustrated we haven't won because I thought the performance was good enough to get all 3 points. We're probably closer to getting all 3, but that doesn't matter. You need to earn it and do it. So we're going to keep going and stick with the positives. We have to keep working. Just talking about the absence of Lamptey there, and they've cut the interview off. So there you go.
Okay.
Hang on. Yeah, Lamptey's days or weeks, he would have think so. And I suspect you don't want me to talk about the World Darts Championship, so I'm not going to.
Well, it might be marginally more interesting than the first half we all sat through this afternoon, I would imagine. But there you go. Just quickly on the stats. We haven't looked at those yet in the post-match summary. West Ham 43% possession overall to Brighton's 57. West Ham 11 shots in the end to Brighton's 13. Both sides provided 4 shots on target each. West Ham with 5 corners to Brighton's 4. West Ham committing 6 fouls to Brighton's 7. And XG stats, West Ham 1.38 to Brighton's 1.51. So both teams, I guess, doing marginally better than the stats suggested they should have done with the opportunities afforded to either team in front of goal. Rio, KUMB.com forum match thread. What are the natives saying? Are they happy about West Ham coming back to snatch a point, or still berating Moyes for that tactical, or that lineup that began the game?
No, from an early count-up of 6 pages before the game started, we had the backlash of under 10 selection for 7 pages. We're now up to 46 pages, and there's not a lot of love in the air. It's Christmas, lads. Come on. The one positive I will point out is Bryant 4114 has put Souček really has entirely changed our fortunes as a club.
Yeah.
The goals, the Rice partnership, the defensive capability, the set pieces. I've no idea where we'd be without him. And that he is a massive shining light. One of the highlights I had probably our entire year since he joined us.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's not a lot of love going around elsewhere. How the Dogs put the first half will live in the memory for all the wrong reasons. Easily one of the worst things I've ever seen on the football pitch. 2-2 is a good result against the side near the bottom? Nah. If Noble starts the next game, my TV goes off instantly. Burnley Hammer. Thank God it's all over with. I can get back to enjoying Christmas now. And that's about as positive as it gets, to be honest. Doubles 1966. Poor first half. Second half, okay. Brighton get their customary dodgy handball goal. Really pleased with Johnson, and Souček deserved his goal. I thought I seen an Arsenal Noble in a West Ham shirt prior to Monday. Surely it's sunk in now. For a game and a half, the match has passed him by when the other lot have had the ball. Or he's just got his in the way when we have. It's borderline cruel watching him now. Yeah, I can carry on, mate. I've got another 15 pages worth of bitchy comments coming.
That's an interesting point. Brighton's equaliser last year had exactly the same thing, wasn't it? Murray handled it.
Exactly, yeah.
And
it is.
VAR looked at it and then said, oh, yeah, it did touch his hand. Let's call it a goal, you know. So,
yeah, to be fair, actually, someone made that point on the YouTube chat. Without scrolling back up, I can't recall who it was, but yeah, that was pointed out that it's the second time in successive, home contests we've been done by a dodgy goal from Brighton. But yeah, so Rio, all pretty despondent really from the West Ham contingent tonight.
Yeah, I'll carry on with a couple more comments here. Clark and Bell was put, that was as bad as anything we've seen in the last couple of seasons. The first half was absolute gash. Truly appalling team selection. You would have thought we were picking a team to play the bin tippers of City. While he's been a great servant to the club, anyone who thinks Noble can still cut at this level is absolutely blind. I'm not even sure he gets a game against Stockport in the Cup. The simple fact now, he's at the point where he makes everyone else play worse. We didn't have crossing boots on at all. The only decent ball Cresswell managed to put in was the corner that Souček scored from. The only good things were Johnson getting a well-taken first goal and Lanzini running the show in the second half. He was easily the best player in the park. Profit marginal, but I always think a point is a result if we concede first. The West Ham team under Pellegrini would not have come back twice. Johnson's first goal sounded like a well-taken strike. It's good to see Souček paying back his transfer fee double week time. That's 8 career goals for us over two half seasons. Impressive for midfield. Noble is a sub, surely from now on, not a starter. And there is a lot of comments about Mark Noble's contribution, not only today, but in the coming weeks, the coming months. His contract's up in the summer. There's a lot of debate on there about whether he should be extended, forced to retire, forced to move into the coaching setup.
Yeah.
I know he's one of Pinky's favourite ever players. He's one of most people's favourite ever players, but the cruel fact is that because the modern game is analysed and watching by every single minute, every single second is analysed over and over again, when the deficiencies start creeping in, people get kind of called out. And Mark's banging the phone line at the moment. I have to say that I think he disrupts our play. I think he's not an asset in the first team when we play in the style that we do. Under Pellegrini, we were trying to play a bit more patient, a bit more build-up from the back. Yeah, he had the role. At the moment, where we're trying to play a more counter-attacking, intuitive, quick, flow, fast-flowing game, he doesn't suit us at all. And I'm sad to say that I think Mark's time in the first team surely has got to come to an end incredibly soon.
There you go. I mean, the bell does, of course, toll for us all eventually, and lots of people feeling that time has come for the skipper, Mark Noble. Well, we shall see. We're going to move over briefly to the Brighton forums just to see what the Seagulls fans are thinking about their team's result today. You'd think, if you'd had if you had offered it to them at the start of the game, Pinky, that most Brighton fans would have taken a 2-2 draw and a point from the London Olympic Stadium. Is that the case?
Yeah, there's a few of their supporters have made that very point on the North Stand chat this afternoon. But a chap called Hove Hearted has put an interesting comment in. He said, I don't think West Ham are that much better than Brighton. There's only one manager going for the win towards the end, and only one who will be fighting relegation. And that's not a coincidence. I'm not Potter out, but his subs are far too negative and often come too late. And by then, are forced changes. That could have been written exactly for David Moyes by any number of our supporters on the KUMB forum. So dare I say it's an off-quoted opinion for managers in the wrong part of the table or whose teams aren't quite doing what the supporters would like. Generally speaking, I'd say they're actually quite balanced on North Stand chat. Actually, none of them are going on about being robbed of 3 points. A couple of them think they could have taken 3 points. But in general terms, I think I'd say they're reasonably balanced in their views. So I don't think you're going to have too many juicy nuggets for the opposition view this time around, Graham. But just to pick up on a few of the points they were been discussing, I think our problems go way beyond VAR. And as disappointed as we are with tonight's result, had that Brighton goal not stood and we'd picked up all 3 points, it would just paper over some very obvious cracks.
Yeah. And
the obvious cracks to me tonight were he's starting with 33-year-old Mark Noble in what was his 511th appearance for West Ham United. But he's having to start him because he's probably of a mindset that goes, if I can keep it tight for the first half and bring on my match winners in the second half, that ought to be enough tonight. He's also started Gerard Bowen, who was found short of gas at the crucial moment at the end of the first half when he should have been tracking back, that left Vlad the Lad woefully exposed, and therefore his lack of legs, and he's played a lot of minutes this season, Bowen, exposed us. And again, I just wonder if he's another player that if the manager felt he had more options on the bench, might have been given a rest today. As it is, the manager chose to leave out Pablo Fornals for the game today. Again, another player that's done an awful lot of miles for us this season. And for me, yes, VAR let us down today, but I think ultimately it's the thinness and balance of our squad that is letting the manager down. I don't really want to call out individual players and say this player played badly or this player's had it and all the rest of it. Yeah, I'm sure if Mark Noble was the fifth contributor on this chat right now, he would actually be saying I shouldn't be starting games in the Premier League. He'd tell you that. He's an honest professional. Okay, the fact that he's having to, I think sends a message to the whole team, whereby they also go out there going, we're going backwards here, not forwards. The manager's having to go backwards in terms of selection thought process, not forwards. Where was the young up and coming player for David Moyes to chuck on at the start and say, do you know what? Well done, son. You've earned a place in the first team. You're starting this week. He can't do that because he doesn't have that player on his books. Instead, he turns to his tried and trusty old captain. And I'm afraid, if there's something we know about the Premier League, if you don't invest every single window, you go backwards. And we've already seen the chairman telling us, there's no money to spend and blah, all the usual rubbish we put up with every single window. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, there's your result tonight, Mr. Chairman. A knackered Gerard Bowen doesn't track back and we concede a goal. An aging Mark Noble hasn't got the legs to compete and we create nothing in the first half. these are the real issues. VAR is a bit of a sideshow.
Yeah,
It's the lack of depth in the squad, the lack of options to the manager, and I'm afraid, even with or without VAR, they're the things we've got to tackle because, for my money, Brighton weren't great today, and we couldn't put them to bed, and that's a real worry. So, good news, Declan. We're going to build the team around you, and we'll be comfortable mid-table for the rest of your career. Just sign here, please, young man. Not happening, is it?
Well, we shall of course see. But the rumours persist as they have done every transfer we know for the last couple of years now that Declan Rice is going to be on his way soon. The club say no, he's not going anywhere. Those that know him say he's died in the war, West Ham, and as we know, as Pinky, of course, and you and Gnome will know, as regular away visitors, his family are often in the away end on the road. But of course, we shall see. And he is an absolutely vital cog, and especially with, as Rio has said, and the others that, with Mark Noble going off the boil, if we were to lose Declan Rice as well, it would be, you just wonder where it would leave West Ham. We are going to end today's broadcast on a positive note, however. It hasn't been the best match and certainly wasn't the best result we could have hoped for, but there were some shining lights out there today. I'm thinking particularly of a couple of players. Firstly, Manuel Lanzini, not been in the side at all on a regular basis since he's returned from that horrific injury a couple of seasons ago that prevented him from playing in the World Cup. But today came into the side at a difficult time. West Ham trailing 1-0 and helped turn it around, produced a really good performance as he did the other night as well. And also a word for young Ben Johnson's come in, took his goal with aplomb, I believe would be the correct description. His first senior goal of his West Ham career, the first of many, we hope. So, Gnome, just a few words to end, if you will, on Lanzini and Johnson and their performances today.
As you've taken all the best lines away there. You said it all. The introduction of Lanzini, as I said at the time, was a player whose total mindset was, when he got the ball, was attacking intent. Excuse me. That may have been the case with Bowen. That might have been what he was thinking, but he was really not at the races today, an off day. So the introduction of Lanzini meant we had a player who not only wanted to be attacking, but was actually capable of doing it and making things happen. As I say, he was really it changed the whole flow of the game. And Johnson, I think having Lanzini along up there also helped out Johnson a bit, insofar as that Johnson then had someone ahead of him or alongside in the middle there that he could lay the ball off to keep the attacking flow going, which a lot of the time wasn't. Whether by accident or design, Cresswell didn't show much as an attacking force in the first half. Second half, different story. And having Cresswell sort of joining the attack helped Johnson immeasurably. There was good sort of overlap play between them, and it sort of bodes well, really, because Johnson doesn't do the same sort of thing as Masuaku does, but even in the first half, when he was really getting no support out wide, there were 2 or 3 times he wanted to take on the fullback, and had that. He'd obviously been told, go and do Arthur's role, get up and down that line, and it just proved that if you've got the support to do that, then you'll shine. And chuffed for him, as we all are, an academy lad getting their first senior goal. It's you always get a nice warm glow from that. And as I say, those two were probably the standout players. I'll probably give man of the match, if we're going to have one, to Lanzini, because without him, we weren't going to draw that game, or never mind win it. Mm-hmm. With him, all things being equal, we might have gone on to win. So, if we're having a man of the match, Lanzini just shades it for me, even though he's only on for half the game.
Okay, good. Yeah, we didn't get that far, did we? As for a man of the match award, so thank you for reminding me there. No, Rio, Lanzini, and Johnson. Your thoughts on those two today?
Yeah, I completely agree with Lanzini. For me, man of the match, because he came on and he changed our side completely. I was saying, just as Buddy Brighton scored the second goal, that him coming on allowed, when all three, like Souček, Noble and Rice play together, it's so congested in midfield that it didn't allow Aaron Kressel to step up and play that he has been, because there are times when he's almost like quarterback-like in terms of the way he delivers the ball and helps augment the attack. As soon as that change was made at half-time, not only did Ben Johnson flourish, as I said in the first half, he wasn't there to. We didn't allow him, the way we set up, didn't allow him to play. Not only did he flourish, so did Aaron Cresswell a little bit. It was great to see Manuel back. As alluded to, since that injury, he's been a shadow of his former self. Today, I think it was probably his best performance since then. You know, he looked lively. He had a point to prove, and it's the first time he's actually dictated the game in almost 2 years. Mm-hmm. He's come on and actually changed the dynamic of our team, allowed to flourish, and he should have started really. Ben Johnson, we all want to see a young youth academy prospect flourish, and the way he took the goal was incredibly positive and mature. I mean, it was a great finish with the keeper bearing down him like that. You know, he looked so composed. The way he took it was amazing to see. And I hope he gets more game time. You know, with Arthur out the side, we need someone who can step into his role and kind of allow us to play in a setup that has been so successful for us over the start of the season. You know, since Arthur's been gone, we have suffered big time. If Ben can come in and do that, playing in the right system with the right midfield alongside him and in front of him, there's no reason that we don't have another exciting young prospect on our books. You know, he suffered a lot of injury problems himself. So to see him come in, finally get his first goal, stamp his authority in the second half, because he made some really good runs down left-hand side in that second half. It was a joy to see. So although Manuel gets the man of the match for me, I'm really glad to see Ben Johnson do what he did today.
Smashing. Thank you, Rio. And finally, Pinky, Manuel Lanzini, both the guys have already said he was their man of the match. Would you go along with that? And also your thoughts on young Ben Johnson and a fantastic first senior goal.
Yeah, I'll take him in reverse order. I mean, Johnson, terrific composure to take his goal. You know, we've all seen good seasoned pros fail to take that kind of opportunity with monotonous regularity. So for him to actually keep calm, pick the spot, place the ball, I thought was terrific. So very, very pleased for him. Thought as well as general play in the second half, he linked up really well with Cresswell, a lot of good interchange between the two of them. And that I felt was actually because Rice and Souček were actually getting much further forward and could actually bring the ball with them. So, you know, we were playing the game in the right half of the field. So Johnson gets a positive from me today. Manny Lanzini, he did exactly what the manager would have wanted him to do, which is I'm sticking you on to change the game. And he did. Do I think he's back to his absolute best? I think I'd want more evidence than we saw today. But do I think he's a player worth persevering now? Yes, I do. And certainly on the evidence of what we saw today, I'd certainly be picking him ahead of Mark Noble for the next game. Let's put it that way. So that's a positive for Lanzini, a positive for young Johnson. But they really were the only two bright spots of a torrid afternoon for West Ham United. And for my money, 2 points dropped, and we've just now got to go and beat Southampton. No ifs or buts. You know, results against them in recent seasons haven't been all that bad. But we've got to go into that game with a positive mindset, and I'll be looking for David Moyes to actually pick a team that says this is the team that's going to win. Yeah, not a team that's going to hang on for a draw. It's a team that's going to go and win, because we need it. We need it. You know, mid-table. Who wants to be there?
Thank you, Pinky. It is, of course, a mid-table affair that faces West Ham next. West Ham in 10th. Travel to Southampton, who are currently 3 points ahead of the Hammers on 25 points in 9th place in the table. West Ham, as Pinky also said, have done fairly well down in St Mary's in recent seasons. So we'll be hoping for something a little bit more than this afternoon. Of course, after that, we travel to Everton, and then it's Stockport in the Cup. 3 away games in succession for West Ham United. That is it for today. That is it from the team here at Eyes Up Mother Brown. We do hope you've enjoyed the show. Thank you for sharing the afternoon with us. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite as enjoyable as we'd hoped it had been. West Ham 2, Brighton and Hove Albion 2. West Ham coming from behind twice to take a point at the London Olympic Stadium and remain in 10th place. My thanks go to my team here, as always, Gnome, to Rio and to the Pink Palermo. Thank you all for your wisdom and learned comments this afternoon, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure, as always. Also to our viewers, everyone joining us live on the YouTube stream, and also to those of you populating the Knees Up Mother Brown forum and the match thread throughout the day. Of course, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so, and then you can be notified every time we go live and don't have to wait for me to put a message up 2 minutes before kickoff, belatedly telling you that we're on air. Final word this afternoon. It's going to go to a friend of ours. We've received the unfortunate news yesterday that the Newham recorders, Dave Evans, had sadly passed away long before his time. Dave was a friend of KUMB's and a good friend to myself and Gordon when we were attending the press conferences at the bowling ground. Dave was always very helpful to us at KUMB. Always had a good word to say and a smile, and we will all miss him terribly, I think. And my condolences and those of all of us at Knees Up Mother Brown to Dave's family at this very difficult time, and especially to lose someone, you know, at this time of year. So thanks, Dave. Thanks for everything you did for us over the years, and it's much appreciated. That's it for today. We'll see you all again very soon. And one more thing to say.